Chapter 33:20 Complete 33 Skies. Han Sen didn't know what would happen if the Jian Ou tablet saw the 24 strokes of the Jian Ou spell. If he drew them one by one, the Jian Ou tablet might end up stopping him or erasing the progress he was making. When he put down the Jian Ou spell, he put down a formation trick. He drew some on the left and some on the right. The knife marks left behind were done in a way that it did not appear to be connected. Actually, all he did was change the order in which he wrote down the spell. He also did not write down the last line of the 24-stroke Jian Ou spell. After arranging it, he could use one knife swipe to finish the 24-stroke spell. According to the password's order, the Jian Ou spell would be completed by that knife. Seeing the 24-stroke Jian Ou spell light up, Han Sen was not happy. He did not know if the 24-stroke password would even work. The skeleton that was latched onto Han Sen saw the 24 symbols light up. It lost its voice and screamed, "How do you know the 24-stroke light spell?" Boom, boom, boom. Han Sen discovered the 24-stroke Jian Ou spell was like 24 fires. They lit up the stars around. The fires followed the wire that looked like it was there, but was not there. It spread to the other stars. In a moment, the whole sea of stars was ignited. Many glowing stars were thrown out of orbit. The entire sea of stars was like it had been flipped over. It led to some unbelievable changes. Han Sen thought the skeleton that had chained him up was losing its hold on him a bit. He exerted strength to struggle and escape the clutch of the skeleton. He was going to the sea of stars. Perhaps it was because the sea of stars had lost control. But this time, when Han Sen went out, he appeared outside the Jian Ou tablet. What happened outside did not make Han Sen happy. Outside the Jian Ou tablet, the sea of clouds in the 33rd sky was tumultuous. They were madly waving. The Jian Ou tablet was glowing more holy than ever. It was so bright that one could hardly see it. Space around looked like it was falling apart. It was more shocking than Han Sen using the Dongxian aura to see. Countless universe cogwheels were spinning like mad. It was like a sleeping machine had suddenly been turned online and started firing on all cylinders. Many universal cogwheels that were combined were strangely falling apart. They connected with the cogwheels in an entirely different universe too. It felt like the mysterious machine, known as the universe, was now changing. He did not dare remain in the 33rd sky. Han Sen escaped the 33 skies and returned to outer sky. That place was not entirely safe either. Weird scenes were going on everywhere. 10 suns were in the sky. They looked like they were flowing through the sky. It was like some god demon was playing games with reality. Han Sen's face changed. He escaped outer sky to shockingly find out it was not just outer sky behaving that way. The entire Jian Ou universe was changing. Places were falling apart, and weird things kept happening everywhere. Big Sky Demon gave me the 24-stroke Jian Ou spell. What was it? Han Sen was shocked. He went into his dreams to find Big Sky Demon, who was still resting. Han Sen tried calming himself down. He stared at Big Sky Demon and asked, "Big Sky Demon, what was that 24-stroke spell you gave me?" Big Sky Demon looked at Han Sen with shock. "Did you really write down the Jian Ou password on the Jian Ou tablet?" "I did." Han Sen looked glum. He looked at Big Sky Demon like a tiger. Big Sky Demon laughed and came hovering next to Han Senator. She stroked his face and said, "My dear, you are a very daring boy. You actually wrote down the Jian Ou password." Han Sen grabbed Big Sky Demon by the wrists and coldly asked, "What was it?" Big Sky Demon smiled and said, "Don't worry. Whatever I told you is real. The Jian Ou password was used for resetting the Jian Ou tablet." "You only said the 33 skies would be reset," Han Sen coldly said. "You did not say the Jian Ou universe would be affected." Big Sky Demon stroked her hair and said, "My dear, the place that will be affected will not only be the Jian Ou universe. The universe of kingdoms would be affected too. The 33 skies are the buffer zones between the main and reverse universes. That means it is the way to connect the main and reverse universe. Did you think the main and reverse wouldn't be affected or something? In that case, what is going to happen now?" Han Sen did not have the patience needed to listen to Big Sky Demon's frivolous explanations. "Do not worry. The resetting of the 33 skies will not bring harm to the main and reverse universe. Instead, it can only yield benefits." Big Sky Demon smiled. Han Sen frowned and looked at Big Sky Demon. Whatever Big Sky Demon said was difficult for him to believe. Do not look at me like that. When have I ever lied to you? Not even once. Big Sky Demon rubbed Han Sen on the face and said, if I have guessed things correctly without my Geno password, you could not have escaped the Geno tablet's backlash. Han Sen presented a wry smile. He knew if he did not use the Geno password, things would have proven ill for him. He could not really take it out on her. It did not matter if Big Sky Demon was playing a game or had ulterior motives. At the end of the day, it was Han Sen who decided to use the spell. Big Sky Demon looked a bit excited as she said, if the Geno tablet has already been reset, I should leave. The time that I am used to is coming back. What is that supposed to mean? Han Sen asked. Just go out and take a look. Big Sky Demon looked very happy. She was holding Han Sen's head by the cheeks. She planted a kiss on him. After that, she flew out of his dreams and said, little dear, you make me so happy. It is no wonder why you are the stepfather of Master Bauer. You really did use the Geno password to reset the Geno tablet. This is quite amazing. Big Sky Demon was now out of his dreams, so Han Sen forced himself to wake up. Whatever he saw was weird. The entire Geno universe was undergoing weird shifts. There were big changes in all he laid his eyes upon. The weird scenes and changes did not cause disasters. The previously hidden 33 skies started to show up. The weird scenes Han Sen saw were all from the 33 skies. It was different from what Han Sen saw before. This time, the 33 skies looked like they had a layer of stars that were floating through the air. No matter where in the universe one was, one could see the 33 skies. The complete 33 skies looked like a giant gravestone. Atop the gravestone was a tablet. On the tablet, 2 words were written down upon it. Geno tablet. Han Sen spoke the 2 words aloud. He looked at it very strangely. He thought the 33 skies was like a big gravestone. Han Sen evilly thought, it is bad to see this thing there. The God Chaos Party leader chose that unlucky spot for a headquarters. It is no wonder he failed. Qin Xiu and Berry Path God cannot be buried in the 33 skies beneath that gravestone, right? Chapter 33-21 Item nobody owns. While Han Sen was thinking, he saw a scary shadow in the air. In the shining god light, it was headed for the 33 skies, which looked like a headstone. It was a powerful break-world beast. That break-world beast looked like a dragon. When it flew, it had all kinds of old swords go with it. It obviously had a break-world rate of at least 30%. Its break-world power was already solid. Regarding the break-world rate, this break-world beast was much stronger than Han Senator. The 33 skies were in between 2 worlds. Within that emptiness, the break-world beast emerged from the universe of kingdoms. The Geno universe could witness this too. When it came before the 33 skies, there was an invisible barrier that prevented those from the outside from approaching. Boom, boom, boom. The dragon-looking break-world beast roared madly. The old swords were like a river bent on striking the 33 skies. The old swords were blocked by an invisible power. They were broken, as was the creature's advance. It could not go forward. Still, the break-world beast did not stop there. It used its body to strike the invisible barrier. The old swords kept surrounding the monster as it kept battering the invisible walls. It was injuring itself. Its draconic horns broke. The beast's blood poured like rain, yet it would not cease. What is it trying to do? Han Sen asked Big Sky Demon. He did not understand what that break-world beast was trying to achieve. It is trying to reach the 33 skies. It is headed for the Geno tablet, Big Sky Demon quietly replied. Her eyes kept peering at the 33 skies and the Geno tablet on display. Why is it going to the Geno tablet? For what purpose? Han Sen asked. The Geno tablet has already returned to its origin. It no longer has a master. No life force can become its master. After saying that, Big Sky Demon coldly laughed. It is just a break-world beast that has a 60% break-world rate. Yet it actually wants to become the master of the Geno tablet. It has a death wish for even trying. Why does it want to become the master of the Geno tablet? What benefit would the creature yield from doing that? Han Sen didn't understand. Back in the day, the God Chaos Party fought against a sky full of god spirits, Big Sky Demon said. They almost managed to destroy the Jing Ou Hall. The primary reason for doing that was the Jing Ou tablet. It was the foundation for a new god world. You had to control the Jing Ou tablet to overturn the Jing Ou Hall and make a new order and kingdom. Even killing god spirits was a futile endeavor. If the Jing Ou Hall was still there, and the god spirits had all been killed, the Jing Ou Halls would just spawn more god spirits. Just like back then, when the old leader died for rebooting the universe, the Jing Ou Hall had a new master. Boom. The dragon-like break-world beast was covered in blood. Its dragon horns broke, and its scales started to flake away. There was a sky full of beast blood. It was pouring down everywhere. It was hard to tell whether or not the creature was dead or alive. Surprisingly, even such a powerful break-world beast was not able to reach the 33 skies. Han Sen's heart jumped. He was going to use galaxy teleportation to gain access to 33 skies. He was going to kill the creature while it was on its knees. Getting a free break-world gene could not be argued with. Before Han Sen moved, Big Sky Demon said, "Do not waste your breath. That break-world beast is from the universe of kingdoms. The 33 skies have recovered. The power that separates the main and reverse universe is not weakened. It is stronger. You can see when it gets close to the 33 skies, but you cannot touch it through the 33 skies unless you are strong enough to break space and gain access to the universe of kingdoms again." Han Sen was strong, but he could not break the 33 skies. Now there weren't any space cracks. He could not casually travel between the main and reverse universe. What a shame. Han Sen licked his lips and felt very sorry about that. Many people and creatures thought the same thing as Han. Senator the Breakworld Beast had only just fallen, but a few Breakworld Beasts had already swept forward trying to reap its benefits. Despite being injured, the Breakworld Beast had a 60% Breakworld rate. The Breakworld Beasts that went there to reap the benefits watched the fiend still roar. Its broken scales became a number of old swords that immediately slashed a few Breakworld Beasts' limbs off in all sorts of directions. One was completely beheaded. A skinny camel is still bigger than a horse. Even a few 30% Breakworld rate little boys want to get benefits. Big Sky Demon just shook her head. Han Sen felt sorry about this. If he was on the side of the universe of kingdoms, he would be able to gather many Breakworld genes. Roar. While he was feeling awful about his situation, he noticed a few more Breakworld beasts go to the 33 skies. Like the dragon before, it was an attempt to break the 33 skies barrier to gain access. A while later, more and more Breakworld beasts hit the 33 skies. The Jing Ou universe was fine. The Breakworld beasts had only just formed. There were no powerful Breakworld beasts about. In the universe of kingdoms, many scary Breakworld beasts emerged out of nowhere. They tried to access the 33 skies. The 33 skies shield was very mysterious. Many scary creatures struck the barrier of the 33 skies, but were unable to move or gain access to the 33 skies. Many scary creatures were hit and injured. They could not gain access. A big gold bird broke the world and went there. It was like gold lightning. It tore through empty space and broke the invisible barrier. It managed to gain access to the 33 skies and the item that looked like a headstone. Then it was gone. More Breakworld beasts were wanting to gain access like the big, gold bird had managed to. When they sprinted there, they went crashing into that invisible barrier. They broke their bones, resulting in blood seeping through cracked skin. They dyed the sky red. Many Breakworld beasts tried to attack the 33 skies, but not many were able to gain access. Suddenly, a holy god light emerged from the sky and the ground. A holy woman approached. She lit up the whole sky. It was Light Goddess, who Han Sen had seen before. The Annihilation class Light Goddess looked different from how she did before. It looked as if she had achieved god power. The sky and the ground shined around her. Many Breakworld beasts appeared scared and stumbled back in fear. Light Goddess walked to the 33 skies invisible barrier. The light suppressed the invisible barrier. She slowly walked into the 33 skies, step by step. She was Light Goddess. When she went to the 33 skies, the light that shined everything in the universe and never faded was gone. Light Goddess went to the 33 skies and the big headstone. Why is she going to the 33 skies? Does she want to control the Jino tablet too? Han Sen wondered. So what if it is a god spirit going there? Big Sky Demon smiled at Han Sen and said, to face the Jino tablet, even god spirits will fear death. They will want to control the Jino tablet to ensure the Jino Hall still controls the world. Light Goddess is a pioneer. Watch her. The real fighting has yet to begin. Little lover, take care of Master Bauer no matter what. I am going. If I make it back, we will continue our relationship from where we left off. After that, Big Sky Demon flew into the sky. She was like a demon woman flying into the sky. She was flying to the headstone. When she flew toward the invisible wall, she waved her fingers to draw some mysterious symbols. She drew the symbols down on the invisible barrier. It was like she was opening a door. She walked inside with ease. She vanished with other creatures into the headstone. Chapter 33:22 Talk to my son. Han Sen looked at the 33 skies. He did not plan on going in. He turned around and went to Space Garden. Regardless of whether Qin Xiu and the other guys were there in the 33 skies, if he went in now he might not be able to earn any benefits. Even if he made a blood path and went before the Jino tablet, conquering the Jino tablet was not an easy thing to accomplish. Han Sen's break world-class Super God Spirit mode was not very useful before the Jino tablet. If it was not for using the 24-stroke Jino spell password, he would have died inside the Jino tablet. When Han Sen returned to Space Garden, he noticed the very high and those from Sky Palace had come there to settle. The Extreme King Dragon destroyed, and other high races had not incurred as much destruction. They had managed to hold on to their homelands, but they still sent people to Space Garden, so they could hold discussions about how they planned to fix the universe. The reason for that was because they did not have as many life souls attacking them, and they had the protection of the god spirits. There were god spirits in their races helping them to kill the break world beasts. The damage and devastation they incurred were minimized a great deal. In Space Garden, the very high in Sky Palace did not believe in the gods. They did not pray to the god spirits either. So they did not receive any help from the god spirits. The very high in Sky Palace cooperated with god spirits, but they did not believe in gods. Plus, those three places had many life souls. They had suffered the most damage. In the end, only Space Garden was able to hold out. The very high gave up Outer Sky while the sky gave up Sky Palace. Fortunately, the very high and the sky were friendly. They did not have many people, so they stayed in Space Garden. They gathered their resources and strength to fight the changes now affecting their universe. Sky Palace leader saw Han Sen return, so he asked Han Sen what happened to the 33 skies. Han Sen saw that the very high people and Space Garden people were looking at him, so he told them the story once. The Jino tablet in the 33 skies is a creature belonging to the God Chaos Party's old leader. Right now, it has returned to its origin. It has become an item that no one knows. Any creature can become its master, so all the scary creatures from the main and reverse universes, including god spirits, want to assert themselves as the Jino tablet's new master. Of course, Han Sen did not tell them he was the one who had made the 33 skies return to origin. People say treasure is owned by those who fight for it, a very high elder said. Perhaps there is still a chance. Sky Palace leader Zhang Xiandao lifted his lips and said, according to the rules of the very high, all the treasure is related to the very high. The very high elder looked rather upset as he asked, what do you mean? The very high and the sky hailed from the same origin, but they did not like each other. There were some disagreements between them. Even though this elder practiced very high sense, and had almost reached very high's forget love level, whenever he saw Zhang Xiandao he was a bit intense. Zhang Xiandao smiled and said, good words. The power of you very high people is against the sky. You are stronger than the break world beasts in the 33 skies. You can try your luck. It is a shame we Sky Palace students are all too weak, and cannot even enter the 33 skies. We cannot try something that you call luck. The treasure will be in the hands of you guys, the very high. After hearing Zhang Xuandao's mocking words, everyone knew he was implying that they did not have the power to breach the 33 skies. They would be unable to control the Jino tablet. Hansen could not be bothered listening to them. He did not plan on going to the 33 skies yet. He got up and prepared to leave the meeting room. He was looking for Ji Yanran and Linger. Hansen, our research has yet to yield a result, the very high elder said. How could you just leave? I am old. There is nothing I can do. You guys talk to Little Flower. Just keep me informed when you figure something out. I will do whatever you guys need me to. Hansen patted Little Flower on the shoulder. Son, you have grown up, and your father is old. I am going to go see your mother. Take care of your little sister. You will be the one in charge of the family's safety. Dad. Little Flower looked as if he was going to smile and cry at Hansen at the same time. Hansen whispered this into Little Flower's ears. Good luck. Do it if you can. If you can't, then you should run. It is fine if you cannot achieve victory. It is better than dying. What he said was so quiet, but the top-class elites were still able to hear him. Many of the elites of all the other races felt weird hearing it. You guys keep talking, but I am leaving. After saying that, Hansen left the meeting room. When Hansen left the room, Isha walked out too. Hansen asked her, Teacher, are you getting used to living here? It is not too shabby. Isha looked at Hansen and said, Dollar, you didn't forget we still have a grudge match to settle. Teacher, why are you doing this? Hansen asked. Killing each other is not nice. Watch me. Isha suddenly jumped. She pulled out her knife and drew it near Hansen's neck. Hansen's reaction was very fast. Isha was one of the top elites of the whole Jian Ou universe, but she hadn't broken the world yet. She was not a threat to Hansen. She was Hansen's teacher, so he did not take the knife. He took a step back and dodged the knife that was coming to cut his head off. Isha used teeth knife and kept slashing at Hansen. She did not use all of her power, but the knife mind and the knife skill were the best knife talents she could ever strive to achieve. Hansen had to admit that her knife mind was almost as good as his. She used teeth knife, but Isha's knife was unable to touch Hansen. Isha pulled her knife back. She looked at Hansen and said, There is nothing else I can teach you. Do not ever think about calling me teacher again. If you are a teacher for one day, then you are a teacher forever. Before Hansen finished, Isha interrupted him. I am not that old, and you are not that young. Just call me Isha. After that, Isha ignored Hansen. She went back to where the rebate were living. Hansen felt a wry smile develop. He watched Isha leave. He then returned to his house in Space Garden. Ji Yanran was holding Linger while watching anime. Seeing Hansen come back, Linger flew out of Ji Yanran's arms and landed against Hansen's chest with her arms around his neck. Dad, why are you only back now? Linger asked while acting all cute. Linger has missed you so much. I am so hungry. Dear daughter, what do you want to eat? I will make it for you. Hansen happily patted Linger on the head. I want to eat dragon meat from Green Planet. I want to drink coconut juice from Long Kanan Planet. Linger lifted up her little fingers as she spoke. You didn't miss me. You only miss my wallet. Hansen rubbed Linger's small nose and smiled. Dad, you should not rub my nose. Mother said the nose needs to be tall to be pretty. If you keep rubbing it, it will not grow tall and will look bad. Then no man will want to marry me. Linger used her hands to protect her nose. Mother is lying to you. Look at your mother's nose. It is not that tall, but she still managed to find your father, who is a good man. Hansen looked all cocky. Linger looked at Ji Yanran. She then looked at Han Sr. I will stick to protecting my nose. What is that supposed to mean? Hansen realized what she meant and started to tickle Linger. Chapter 33-23 Big Bad Luck Space Garden was saved, but they had only managed to keep the area around the base. It was unknown how many break-world beasts were out there hiding in the forest. They were combining with the life souls. The longer time went by, the more their break-world rate increased. Hansen left the base area. He held a break-world gene in his hands. This break-world gene had come from Black King. He did not have the time to refine it. He put the tear-shaped break-world gene in his mouth. He felt a weird power surge through his belly. His cells were changing fast. Break-world gene +9. The announcement played in Hansen's brain. Hansen was happy about this. I received 9 break world genes at once. It looks like it will not be difficult getting 100 to max it all out. I just need to kill 10 break world beasts. With the amount of break world beasts around in this universe, killing 10 break world beasts will not be difficult. Space Garden itself should have at least more than 10 in the vicinity. Hansen was set on leaving the base. He was determined to find more break world beasts around Space Garden. He wanted to max out his break world genes and get his break world gene tally to 100. He wanted to see what sort of changes his body would develop. The break world genes were very weird. Although his break world gene amount had increased, the break world rate of his 4 Geno arts did not increase. His super god spirit mode, however, did seem to be affected. His spirit body underwent some changes. Because his pure spirit body could not touch or manipulate anything, Hansen could not be certain if it was a good thing or a bad thing. Boom, boom. Big booming sounds were coming from the nearby forest. It was like thunder heard from afar. The noise lasted a long time. Hansen's heart jumped, and he teleported. He went to where the sound was coming from. He saw a white tiger with 4 wings lying in blood. Its body was full of sword holes. It was like it had been perforated by 10,000 knives and died. It kept bleeding without reprieve. A man with green feathers was above the 4-winged tiger. It was Ningyu. Amidst the chaos of the break world beast rampage earlier, Hansen had seen this 4-winged white tiger. Its break world rate was not very high, but it was very fast. It was a wind element break world beast. In that fight, it had not been killed. It was repelled. Now Ningyu was killing it. The task seemed to be easy for him to accomplish. Ningyu, you have finally managed to conquer the little green sword. Allow me to congratulate you. Hansen walked over to Ningyu. Ningyu descended from space and approached Han Senator. He stopped 1 foot away from Han Senator. His eyes were calm and like a deep well. He peered at Han Senior. I am back. The fight between you and me should begin now. Can we not fight? Hansen shrugged his shoulders and replied. You know I'm a pacifist now, don't you? Ningyu curled his lips. He strangely looked at him. He stumbled backward and looked at Han Senior. Your unsettled heart did not tell me that. Things are different now, Hansen said. Space Garden needs me and you as well. I have been waiting for this day for too long. Ningyu's face looked smaller. He stared at Hansen and calmly said, I want to know how far I have come and how far you have come. Hansen looked at Ningyu and asked, Must we fight? It is not that I have to, Ningyu said. It is just the fact I have been waiting for this for so long. At least give me a reason to keep waiting. The Geno tablet above the 33 skies, Hansen said. Right now, the whole universe of creatures wants to fight to become its master. Why don't you and I use the Geno tablet for a bet? How about we see which one of us can become its master? Ningyu stared at the 33 skies and the headstone. He peered at the Geno tablet. He nodded and said, That can work too. After that, Ningyu turned around and readied himself to leave. Hansen stared at Ningyu's back and asked, Ningyu, do you have a break world gene? Ningyu stopped in his tracks, but he did not turn around as he replied, Yes, I have got it. What is the use of a break world gene? Hansen asked. You have the break world gene too, don't you? Don't you know what it is for? Ningyu paused and said, The break world gene increased the strength of my super god spirit body. I see. I wasn't sure. I did not know if it was just me. It did not improve the prowess of my Geno arts. Hansen was able to confirm his line of thinking. I do not know about others, but the break world genes only seem to work on my super god spirit body. They do not work on my Geno arts, Ningyu said. He then flashed away and went deep into the forests. Clearly, he had a hankering to slay break world beasts as well. He wanted to increase his break world genes like Han Senator Ning. Yu was not in a rush to visit the 33 skies. Hansen did not go too deep into the forest. He took the 4-winged white tiger's body back to Space Garden. Although the break world gene of the 4-winged white tiger had been taken by Ningyu, its body would benefit humans and creatures. After all, Space Garden did not have many break world elites. Its body would prove useful. Right now, the break world beasts of the universe are everywhere. If Ningyu is in Space Garden, I will go to Sky Palace. Before Han Sen left, he gave the Black King Beast's soul and Light King Dragon's Beast soul to Ji Yanran, so she could protect herself. The Light God Dragon Beast's soul was the Stream Light Dragon Spear. The Black King Beast's soul was an Armor Beast soul. It created a Black Jade set of armor. Its break world rate was 59%. It only needed 1 more percent to reach 60%. One was also able to improve the element. The Stream God Light Spear did not have an element. Han Sen did not know how to increase the Black King armor. Han Sen, I feel so restless lately. I feel as if something bad is going to happen. While Han Sen was leaving, Ji Yanran pulled him closer. This was the first time Ji Yanran had stopped Han Sen from going. Do not worry. I am only going to Sky Palace to have a look. I am not going to the 33 skies. I will be fine. Han Sen held Ji Yanran's face and smiled. Hopefully, it is just me that is overthinking things. My Xian is not the best it can be yet. Maybe it just isn't accurate enough. Ji Yanran forced a smile. She looked as if she was in a bad mood. After thinking for a moment, Han Sen suggested, "How about this? I will go to Mr. White and have him calculate things. If things are predicted to be bad, I will not go." Ji Yanran felt a bit safer after hearing that. She nodded and said, "That would be for the best. You should go and see Mr. White. Wait a while. I will be back soon." Han Sen rubbed her cheeks and left the garden. He went to see Mr. White. Big bad luck. Before Han Sen could even say anything, Mr. White said those 3 words to him the moment he saw him. Chapter 33-24 Must go there. Han Sen was shocked and quickly said, "Please explain this to me." Han Sen had learned some Xianmen Jino arts. He had learned quite a bit about Xian, but he was not very good at it. He was not as good as Mr. White. If Han Sen was a general who had killed many on the battlefield, and had never lost a single battle or skirmish, Mr. White would have been the grandmaster who could predict the weather and future. He would have been the one who knew everything. It was not like one of them was better than the other. It was just that their directions in learning had differed and gone in different directions. Mr. White looked at the 33 skies, which looked like a headstone. He told Han Sen, "After the 33 skies returned to origin, I was able to calculate that it is a place where yin and yang crossed each other. But the place is not correct. It has a big murder aura. There is an 80% to 90% chance that creatures that enter the 33 skies will experience bad stuff." When Han Sen heard him, he sighed. "Are you talking about the 33 skies? I was not planning on going there." Mr. White shook his head. "I can sense a murder aura around your body. It cooperates with the 33 skies. Even if you do not want to go there, you will find yourself going there sometime." "Are you saying that I must go to the 33 skies?" If Han Sen were young, he would not have believed him. If he did not want to go, no one would have been able to persuade him to go to the 33 skies. Han Sen had now experienced too much. He knew there were some things even invincible elites were compelled to do. He was also not in a position that was invincible. Mr. White nodded. "You must go. This will be very difficult. You should be prepared." "What about the end of this trip?" Han Sen asked after a brief think. Mr. White smiled. "The future is the future. The Xian we study is only done via calculations with the information we currently possess. It cannot genuinely predict the future, unless the real meaning of a god exists, of course. No average creature can actually see into the future. I am, at the end of the day, just a commoner. I will never be able to know the future, which has many branching paths, twists and turns. Little son, I worry that you have overestimated my abilities." When Han Sen heard Mr. White say that, he knew his trip was going to be a bad one. Mr. White was telling him that there were many different outcomes. Before the end came, there was still a chance for him. Han Sen was thinking about what he would have to do in the 33 skies. He was not thinking about the possibility that he might come back. For now, Han Sen had not found a reason to go to the 33 skies yet. He spoke to Mr. White for a while longer and left. If he ended up having to go to the 33 skies, he knew he would be better off being as prepared as he possibly could. Perhaps that way there would be a much higher chance of him surviving. Hansen wanted to gather all the break world genes he could before visiting the 33 skies. He thought it might be useful once he was done. Upon seeing Hansen return, Jian immediately asked, "What did Mr. White say?" She was still feeling nervous. She had never felt like this before. Even when Hansen had been pulled into the anti-material world by World King God, and others thought Hansen died, Jian still remained calm. She had never been this unnerved before. "Mr. White calculated it for me. He said that I will suffer something disastrous. There is an 80% to 90% chance that I will bleed." Hansen told her half the truth and half a lie. What disaster? Jian was worried. Mr. White is not a god. He cannot predict everything. Even if he could, my chances of dying are at 90%. There is a 10% chance that I will live. There will be a danger, but I will also be supported. I will not have to die. Hansen sounded very serious as he spoke about all of this. Jian always got scared following Han Senator otherwise. Jian would not have been interested in learning more about Xian. Hansen would not let Jian feel scared again. This half-truth and half-lie made Jian feel much better. If Hansen said he was fine, then Jian was willing to believe it. Hansen had still mentioned he would suffer a disaster despite living. Even so, she felt much safer. "You take good care of Linger and Little Flower. I am going to Sky Palace to collect some break world genes." Hansen spoke to her gently. As usual, he did not say anything more than he needed to. Otherwise, with Jian's senses, she would have seen something more. Hansen was getting ready to leave when he saw Linger. Linger blinked as she asked, "Dad? When you come back, can you bring me a cat? I want a pet." "Why would you suddenly want a cat?" Hansen looked at Linger. "The show with the cat and the mouse," Linger said. "That cat is so funny. I really want one." "Sure. When I come home, I will bring you one." Hansen agreed but thought, "I do have a cat, but it is currently with Bauer. She is still in the universe of kingdoms. I cannot go to the universe of kingdoms yet. I must go through the 33 skies to do that." When he waved his hands, Hansen seriously looked at Jian and Linger, the mother and daughter, and thought, "No matter what, I will make it back." He used galaxy teleportation to leave. Hansen did not go to Sky Palace. He went to see Little Flower. The wife and daughter needed to be taken care of. They could not be allowed to feel worried, but a son was different. If something happened to Hansen, he needed someone else to take care of things. He had no choice in the matter because he was a man. He was the leader of the family. He needed to accept responsibility. "Dad, let me go to the 33 skies with you," Little Flower seriously said to Han Sr. "Do not look down on your father. We do not know the future. I will cleave my own way through. You just need to look after your mother and your sister. Also Menger, Zero, Little Angel, and all the others. They are poor people without any true family of their own. You need to take care of them." Hansen smiled. "Those sisters have treated me well, and I have always treated them like real sisters," Little Flower said. "In that case, I am leaving." Hansen waved his hands and started going to Sky Palace. Little Flower suddenly said, "Dad, you have to be careful. I still want to fight you. I have never asked for anything, but you must promise me that." "Sure. Wait for me here." Hansen did not say much. He used galaxy teleportation to reach Sky Palace. From the outside, Sky Palace exhibited no changes. On the inside, the sky and ground had been flipped. Countless floating islands were shrouded in mist. The break world beasts were hiding within it. In that space, the 12 white jade buildings and 5 jade cities were floating on the clouds. It was like a depiction of heaven in some mythical storybook. Chapter 33-25 Killing Break World Beasts. Jinxiu, that asshole. How many life souls did he create? Hansen looked around. He started to think every single island there would have had some scary existences lurking in wait. Hansen's heart jumped. His body appeared on an island. It was one island in Sky Palace, but Hansen did not remember the name of the island. It was an ordinary, floating island in Sky Palace. The name was not particularly remarkable. Now the island was draped in an eerie mist. It had a scary murder aura develop around it, which unsettled his nerves. Han Sen went to the island. He saw a purple crystal on it. The crystal statue was very weird. There was a purple crystal cross on its back. The cross had a purple crystal statue that was tied up by purple crystal chains. The statue looked rather human, but there was one wing on its back. Yes, there was just one wing. Only the left side of the statue had a wing. The right side was empty. There was nothing at all. The purple crystal statue lifted its head. The purple crystal's eyes flickered with a weird light. It looked at Han Sen and said, "I cannot believe you dared to come back. Do you recognize me?" Han Sen looked at the purple crystal statue. He did not recall seeing this person before. The purple crystal statue weirdly laughed. "Before, I and my life soul had just started to combine. It was just for breaking the world. We were not to be your enemy. I could only watch you shine in the white jade Jing. Now things are different. I have perfectly combined with a life soul. It will be easy to kill you." Interesting. Han Sen smiled and looked at the purple crystal statue. He did not strike. He wanted to see how strong it was after combining with a life soul. "Soon you will think this is not interesting," the purple crystal statue said. It suddenly moved. The cross it was tied to with the purple crystal chain suddenly shattered. The purple crystal statue was like a living being. It floated there with the one wing on its back folded. It had a mysterious, strong impact on one's vision. Han Sen looked at the breakworld beast and said, "I have to confess that you do look quite strong. Having said that, I find myself unable to accurately gauge exactly how strong you are. You cannot know what my power is like because when I strike, you will already be dead." The purple crystal statue walked forward. One hand was in front of its chest. It slowly raised it to a position above its head like one would do with a blade. It then came slashing at Han Senator. That slashing power was like it was in space. There was no power involved. Han Sen raised his left hand. It looked as if he had just moved it randomly. He broke the thing that was in space, and a sky full of purple crystal with it. The purple crystal statue's face changed. "You can break my deadly knife light. You are good, but no matter what, today is the day you die." When the purple crystal statue spoke, its body had a killing aura purple flame. Its body turned into a weird and purple scythe. The wing was the blade of the scythe. The purple crystal statue's body became its handle. Han Sen had seen this from Zhao Ninger and the light stream dragon spear. That was not strange. It had a break world rate of at least 30%. It was a break world beast with solid power. Die. The purple crystal statue turned into a reaper's scythe. It tore through space and went straight for Han Senator. It was so fast that Han Sen could only see a purple light. Han Sen did not use full power to kill the breakworld beast. He only let Jade skin break the world. His entire body became a holy body. He waved at the purple crystal scythe. The icy and jade hands hit the purple crystal scythe, and made the purple crystal scythe fly away. Jadeskin's break world rate was lower than 30%, and the purple crystal scythe was above 30%. He did not know how strong Jadeskin was. The purple crystal scythe turned into a light. It spun around Han Sen fast and kept on attacking him. It was like an invisible big hand waving. Han Sen used Jadeskin to fight. He kept fighting the purple crystal scythe, fending him off. It was unknown how many times he was hit, but there was eventually a catch-a noise. The purple crystal scythe's blade was cut by Han Sen's hand. The broken purple crystal came out from the broken part. The purple crystal scythe ceased its assault. It reverted to the shape of a statue again. There was a broken part on the solo wing. The feathers on the edge were cracked. The purple crystal statue's face did not look surprised. It had a weird smile. "You are already dead." The purple crystal statue's face smiled harder. It was like it was an evil ghost looking at a dead man. "How am I supposed to when I die?" Han Sen laughed and looked at the purple crystal statue. The purple crystal statue laughed weirdly as if it was insane. "I said that before I strike, you are already dead." With that crazy laugh, the purple crystal statue put out a hand. A purple crystal chain appeared in its hand. On the other end of the purple crystal chain, it had tied up Han Senator. The purple crystal chain was releasing an evil purple flame. It was like a toxic snake from hell. One was not able to accurately describe how toxic and evil this thing was. It was like it was alive. "Come." Let your soul become my food. The purple crystal statue pulled the purple crystal chain. According to the thoughts of its heart, when it pulled, Han Sen's soul would be ripped right from his body. After it pulled, Han Sen just stood where he was. He was unable to be yanked. There was no reaction. His soul was unable to be pulled out of his body. This has a soul attack power, so your power is very unique, Han Sen coldly said. It is a shame that you encountered me of all people. Even the Jino tablet wanted to take his soul, but it had not worked. Therefore, how could a break world beast be expected to do it? The purple crystal statue looked glum. It had tried its hardest to yank the purple crystal chain, but Han Sen's soul was not going to budge. Han Sen grabbed the purple crystal chain. His muscles expanded. He suddenly broke the crystal that came from the purple crystal chain. He put out his hand. The purple crystal statue was pulled forward by Han Senator Pang. Han Sen's fist struck the purple crystal statue that was flying toward him. It broke the chest of the purple crystal statue. The purple crystal statue's face was twisted. It looked shocked. Han Sen did not move. He kept punching with his fist. He kept punching the purple crystal statue. He broke the purple crystal statue. A crystal that looked like a single teardrop fell out of the being. Killed Breakworld Beast, Extreme Purple Dead God. Got Breakworld Gene. Han Sen heard the announcement play in his head. He had not gotten a beast soul though, which greatly disappointed Han Senator. A soul element power was rare. Even though that Purple Dead God's Breakworld rate was only 30%, which wasn't too high, its soul power was scarier than a Breakworld beast with a Breakworld rate of 60%. Chapter 33:26 Wholly after the Breakworld beast was killed, the mist on the floating islands receded and disappeared. Han Sen put away the Breakworld gene. He was getting ready to fly to the next floating island, when he saw one of the 12 jade buildings of the white jade Jing start to glow. A shadow emerged from the jade building. Han Sen squinted and had a closer look. He looked through the holy light. He noticed that what emerged from the white jade Jing was a fairy clad in blue clothes. White jade Jing is up in the sky. 12 buildings and 5 cities. Fairies are above my head, and my hair grows. The blue-clothed fairy recited a poem from the white jade Jing as she kept flying all around the structure. Her body was light, and her voice echoed. It did not look as if she was from Earth. It was like a dream. Han Sen looked at the blue-clothed fairy headed his way in her floating motion and asked, "Are you a Breakworld beast from white jade Jing?" Han Sen did not deny he judged people via their appearance. If it was an ugly monster that was swooping down, he would have already attacked. What was now flying out was a good-looking Breakworld creature, so he took the time to ask, "I am not a Breakworld beast. I am a fairy. I am a fairy from the white jade Jing." The blue-clothed fairy hovered in the air. She did not descend. She just used her airy voice to talk to Han Sr. "I have seen many gods. This is the first time I've ever seen a fairy." Han Sen checked the blue-clothed fairy out. "Your body has the holy air of the white jade Jing. You should become a part of the white jade Jing. Why are you killing things around the white jade Jing?" The blue-clothed fairy looked at Han Sen as she spoke. "I did enter the 12 floors to retrieve the jade air, but I did not get any holy air." Han Sen did not believe the blue-clothed fairy was just a fairy. Even if it was a fairy, it was just a creature called a fairy. It was like God spirits. They were just spirit body creatures. They were not like actual gods that could do anything they wanted to. "The jade air you mention is the white jade Jing's holy air," the blue-clothed fairy coldly said. "You have the benefits of the white jade Jing, and you have not thought about paying it back. On top of that, you are going to bring it harm. You are doing it all wrong." "I am seeking vengeance, so what's the big deal?" Han Sen asked with a look of disdain. According to the blue-clothed fairy's theory, after he drank milk, he would have to thank the cow and never eat beef again. "I wouldn't dare say that." The blue-clothed fairy was angered by the things Han Sen said. She raised one of her fingers and gathered up some fairy-like light. She flicked her fingers and had the holy light shoot out at Han Sen's body. Han Sen did not fall back. His body glowed in a holy way. It was like he was made from jade ice. He threw a punch at the holy light. When Han Sen punched the holy light broke. It turned into the glitter of starlight and went everywhere. But the holy light was still there. It generated the shape of a holy net that trapped Han Sen inside it. Han Sen gathered up his power, wanting to break the holy net. He quickly discovered that the stronger he was, the tighter the holy net became. A moment later, the holy net was digging into Han Sen's flesh. The jade skin break world holy body was damaged by the holy net. "Stop wasting your breath," the blue-clothed fairy said while pulling the silk. "This is one of the 10 break world armaments that belong to the white jade Jing. It is called a trap fairy net. Its break world rate is almost 100%. Even if break world elites with a 90% break world rate found themselves snared by the trap fairy net, they would find themselves unable to escape and flee. The more strength you use, the tighter it becomes." She pulled the trap fairy net. Han Sen got closer to her. She then flew to the white jade Jing. Han Sen did not believe her. He continued to use his jade skin. He tried to break the holy silk net that bounded him. The thing was surprisingly hardy. Plus, it was just like the blue-clothed fairy had said. The more he struggled and the more strength he exerted, the tighter the strands of silk became. The fairy silk was digging into his flesh so much that one could see his bones. Is the white jade Jing really where the fairy lives? Han Sen stopped struggling. He spoke loudly so the blue-clothed fairy could hear him. "Not bad," the blue-clothed fairy replied. "What kind of fairy are you?" Han Sen asked. "A fairy is a fairy," the blue-clothed fairy said. "Back in time, many years before today, we were greater than every race in this world. You might say we were a collection of ancient gods. To the fairies, we just called them fairy children that had only just been born." She sounded cold as she spoke, and she did not display any special emotions. She gave off the feeling that she was very proud and looking down on everything else in creation. If fairies were that great, why was the white jade Jing taken away by the sky? Han Sen asked. "The fairies you hold so lofty seem to be far worse in reality." The blue-clothed fairy's face changed. She seemed angry as she coldly said, "If we had not been trapped inside the white jade Jing, little people like the sky would not have been able to gain access to the white jade Jing." "Who sealed you inside here?" Han Sen's heart jumped. The blue-clothed fairy's face changed. She did not answer Han Senator. She pulled Han Sen, who was trapped inside the trap fairy net. She did not speak as she proceeded to the white jade Jing. There was a lot of holy air inside the white jade Jing. The good air was everywhere. It was like a holy land. Han Sen had been to the white jade Jing before. Back then, it was not half as pretty as it was now. It did not matter if it was one of the 12 jade buildings or one of the 5 cities, but they all looked bigger and more mysterious. Han Sen asked a few more questions, but the blue-clothed fairy continued to ignore him. She did not take Han Sen outside of the jade building she was in. She flew toward a jade city. That jade city was black. It looked to have been composed of inky jade. The presence there was so deep that it was like hell. Han Sen recalled the Black King flying out of that city, only to be murdered by him. The Black King Beast's soul was unique, Han Sen said. It is not like the beast's soul of ordinary break-world beasts. The blue-clothed fairy has not decided to kill me yet, but she is now taking me to the Black City. If she is doing that, it must have something to do with the Black King. He had a way of breaking the trap fairy net, but he did not do it yet. He wanted to see what the other fairies of the white jade Jing were like first. Han Sen had already seen the Black Jade City, but it was different from the Black Jade City now. The city had a holy air. Many jade statues occupied the city. There were male children and female children. There were big beasts and god birds. There were flowers, trees, grass, and woods. They were all made of inky jade. The Black Jade City had no life force. The jade was everywhere. The blue-clothed fairy landed in the city. She did not look at Han Sen as she asked, "Did you know that not too long ago, the grass, flowers, birds, and beasts were all alive? Why are they all jade statues now?" Han Sen thought he knew, but he pretended he did not know. "It is because the master here died." The blue-clothed fairy turned around and looked at Han Sr. Chapter 33-27 White Jade Jing History Black King. Han Sen suddenly thought of the blue-clothed fairy mentioning someone. The blue-clothed fairy coldly said, "If you know, that means you know you will not be dying for no reason. This is all because of what you did." It made the 1,000 jade fairies of the Black King City unable to be free. Han Sen wished to say something, but he saw a light shadow in Black King City. It was a white jade statue that looked like a king's king. It looked similar to how the Black King appeared. Han Sen could guess that it was the master of White Jade City. Of course, the blue-clothed fairy went to the white jade statue and bowed. "Mr. White King, we have captured the person that slew Black King. What do we do with him?" "Black King is dead. Black King City has no master. It is a dead city. Bury him there with Black King and Black King City." White King sounded cold. He did not seem to have the capacity for rendering human emotion. The blue-clothed fairy nodded. "Okay. It is a shame Mr. Black King had only just been unsealed. He did not recover, yet he was killed by him." White King coldly said, "Black King had it coming, but it is a shame that Black King City is now afflicted with many jade fairies. They will have to sleep for another 10 million years for another Jade King to be born, so they are freed." As Han Sen heard them talking, he decided to ask, "If I can revive the jade fairies of Black King City, can we put our grudge to rest?" After saying that, the blue-clothed fairy and White King looked at him. The blue-clothed fairy turned to him and asked, "What nonsense are you going on about? The jade fairies of Black King City are only something a Mr. Black King can awaken. Even a sky full of god spirits would be useless. Now, you're saying a measly guy such as yourself can do what they can't?" Han Sen ignored the blue-clothed fairy. He looked at White King as he said, "I was just asking that if I was able to wake them up, then our grudge could be over." White King looked at Han Sen and said, "If you can revive the jade fairies of Black King City, you and the grudge with the white jade Jing can be wiped from the slate. I will not go after you for murdering Black King." "Mr. White King, do not listen to his nonsense," the blue-clothed fairy said. "He will just want to trick us and have us release him from the trap fairy net. This person is very good at galaxy teleportation. If you release him, it will be very difficult to take him back." White King did not speak. He just looked at Senator Hans and said, "There is no need for you to release me. Just tell me how Black King used to wake up the jade fairies. Maybe I will be able to wake them up." Seeing the blue-clothed fairy want to protest, Han Sen did not provide her with a chance to speak. He went ahead to ask, "There is no loss in giving this a try, is there?" "Just let him give it a go," White King said. White King was done speaking. The blue-clothed fairy did not believe Han Sen could make Black King City's jade fairies wake up, but she did not say anything about it. "Please tell me how Black King used to wake up the jade fairies." Han Sen pointed at the black jade statue-looking life forms. "If you do not even know that, how are you able to say you know how to wake them up?" the blue-clothed fairy coldly asked. Han Sen did not move. He did not fight with the blue-clothed fairy. He looked at White King. He was the one who could do this. White King still looked very cold. He slowly said, "White Jade Jing is up in the sky, 12 buildings, 5 cities. Fairies are above my head and my hair grows. These lines come from the fairies. The White Jade Jing created a fairy jade. It did not have life. There were not 12 buildings or 5 cities until the fairies came here and turned the fairy jade into 12 buildings and 5 cities. They touched the jade to become fairies. That is how we have life and can walk across the ground." "A fairy, huh? Who were those fairies?" Han Sen was shocked. To touch a jade and become a fairy sounded like too much of an exaggeration. As for turning a jade stone into a life, that power was too scary. Even the Geno God Hall leader could not create life. "The fairies were just fairies," White King coldly said. He then added, "The fairies touched the jade to become fairies. In the 12 buildings and 5 cities, there was a jade fairy that became the ruler of the 12 buildings and 5 cities. Black King controlled Black King City. Only his fairy king aura can let Black King City's jade fairies have life again. If Black King was not killed, could Black King's break world rate enable the jade fairies of Black King City to have a will again?" Han Sen asked, "Is it only when Black King recovers that he can make the jade fairies of Black King City have a will again?" "Same." White King answered very simply. When Han Sen heard him, he was a bit depressed. He had the Black King Beast soul, so his power should have been similar to Black King. By using the Black King Beast soul, he might have been able to wake up the Jade Fairies in Black King City. But Han Sen had already given the Black King Beast's soul to Ji Yanran. He did not have it. If he went back for it, he was afraid the blue-clothed fairy and White King would not believe him. The blue-clothed fairy stared at Han Sen and coldly asked, How are you able to make Black King City's Jade Fairies wake up? Han Sen held his head as he said, You can give me a chance. Han Sen looked at a black jade. Please wait for a second and let me try. After Han Sen said that, he used his Blood Pulse Sutra power and hid it into the little body of a black jade beast. The Blood Pulse Sutra could activate one's Blood Pulse power. It could evolve life. Before, Han Sen used the Blood Pulse Sutra to help King-class creatures level up to God class. Now his Blood Pulse Sutra power had broken the world, so it was more powerful. Thus, Han Sen wanted to give it a go. He thought it might work. If it didn't work, he did not mind fighting White King and the others. If possible, he did not want to become an enemy of the White Jade Jing. According to White King, the 12 buildings in 5 cities should have 17 Jade Fairies. It meant that aside from Black King, there were Break World elites that were like the blue-clothed fairy. There were 16, and Han Sen could not fight them all. Han Sen thought the fairy White King mentioned was interesting. It was able to create life. He had never heard of anyone like that before. The Blood Pulse Sutra power was pumped into the Black Jade Little Beast's body. Han Sen, the blue-clothed fairy, and White King, the 3 people, stared at the Black Jade Little Beast. In the beginning, the Black Jade Little Beast did not react. Han Sen's attitude was like he was treating a living horse. He increased the amount of Blood Pulse Sutra power he was using. After 10 minutes, there was still no movement from the Black Jade Little Beast. The blue-clothed fairy was already starting to feel annoyed. She wished to say something. Suddenly, the body of the Black Jade Little Beast had a red pulse that was rather like a vein. The blue-clothed fairy stopped herself from saying what she was going to. She stared at the Black Jade Little Beast. She watched its blood vessels grow. Han Sen remained calm, but his heart was quite excited. The Blood Pulse Sutra worked on the Black Jade Little Beast, but he did not know what kind of level it would reach. Chapter 33-28 Symbol The Black Jade Little Beast looked like a bear and a dog. It was very hairy and fat. It was also very cute. Even if it was just a jade statue, it was a very lovable work of art. Now the Black Jade Little Beast looked red. It looked as if it had been dyed in blood and was going to bleed to death. Ketcha. The Black Jade Little Beast's body slowly moved. It looked stiff. It was like a rusted robot. Every time it moved, some cracks formed on the jadestone shell. The cracks were getting bigger and bigger. Huge chunks of it fell off. There was wet, black hair underneath the black jade shell. White King and the blue-clothed fairy's eyes were riddled with nothing short of utter confusion. If Han Sen had just enabled the Black Jade Little Beast to wake up, it would have completely shocked them. The reason they were confused, however, was because the Black Jade Little Beast was not solely awoken anymore. If it was awake, the jade statue would have had a spirit. This jade statue was just a jade statue. Its bodies were not truly living. There was no life cycle inside it like a real creature. To put things more directly, the Jade Fairies in the Black King City were just puppets of Black King. When Black King was there, they could be given some sort of will. With Black King gone, they were just a collection of jade stone statues. Now the Black Jade Little Beast had shed its jade stone shell. It had real blood and flesh, but it was not as simple as being awake. Roar! A roaring sound shook the whole of the Black Jade City. The Black Jade Little Beast stood up and roared to the sky. The rest of the Black Jade flew everywhere, revealing the entirety of its body. It is alive. The blue-clothed fairy looked shocked. Even millions of years ago, she had never seen something quite this shocking. Back then, when the fairy went to the White Jade Jing and turned the White Jade Jing into a place composed of 12 buildings in 5 cities, everything there came from that fairy. The pavilion buildings, old towers, jade cities, 1 grass, 1 wood, 1 beast, 1 bird, 1 bug, and 1 fish were all made by the fairy jade statue. Because the White Jade Jing carvings almost used all of the fairy's power, in the end, the fairy was only able to create the most sacred 12 buildings, 5 cities, and 17 jade statues with a life and soul. Although those other jade statues came from the hands of that fairy, they could only rely on Black King and the 17 jade statues' power. They were not real-life forces. Now the little black beast had developed a real-life pulse. Its power was like the fairy that had created the white jade Jing in the first place. How could the blue-clothed fairy and White King not end up shocked? The little black beast had a real body. It shook its body and looked around. It looked at Han Sen and jumped toward him. Han Sen was trapped by the trap fairy net. He was unable to avoid the little black beast, so it came right on him. The little black beast did not seek to hurt Han Senator. It put its tongue out and licked Han Sen's face. It looked very intimate. It was as if Han Sen was a member of its family. Stop licking. Han Sen's hands could not move. His inability to move enabled the little black beast to keep licking him. There was nothing he could do to stop it. It took a while for the little black beast to calm down and stop licking. Han Sen asked, "How was that? Do you guys believe me now?" "Bottle Fairy, let him go," White King said. The blue-clothed fairy looked shocked for a long time. When she heard White King, she made sure to react. She calmed herself down and put away the fairy net. Han Sen stood up and stretched. The little black beast saw Han Sen stand up and thought he was going to play with it. So, it jumped at Han Senator. Han Sen touched its head. That little guy's hands and legs were short. Its nails were very sharp. They were like wheels. They were unable to touch Han Sen's body. "Little guy, you go and play over there," Han Sen said to the little black beast. It seemed to understand Han Sen and crawled to the side. It kept crawling away while looking back at Han Senator. It looked as if it did not want to leave. "What is your name?" White King did not have any emotions, but his words were obviously infused with a penchant for more niceties. "My name is Han Sen," Han Sen answered. White King nodded, looked at Han Sen and said, "If you are able to give a body to the jade fairies in the white jade Jing, the crime of you killing Black King can be erased. Furthermore, you will be considered a friend of the white jade Jing. I wonder what the benefits of being white jade Jing's friend are." Han Sen could tell White King, and the blue-clothed fairy White King had referred to as Bottle Fairy was shocked about the little black beast being revived. White King had also only mentioned the jade fairies of white jade Jing, and not Black King City. This was interesting. White King said, "If you need help, for as long as you do not go against the laws of the white jade Jing's fairy laws, I will give my life to fight for you." That does not seem like a bad deal, but how do I know you will keep your promise? Han Sen asked. To revive the jade statue is something that requires a lot of power. Getting all of the lives here to be made flesh will not be an easy task. I am afraid I will need 8 or 10 years to do that. Let us not talk about 8 or 10 years. Even if it takes 100 years or 1,000 years, I will be able to wait for that. If you are willing to do this, we can wait 1,000 years. White King paused a moment and said, "Regarding your worries, it is pointless. We follow the rules of the fairies. We are under the rule of the fairies. If we make a vow, we are compelled to complete it. Otherwise, the white jade Jing's holy laws would punish us. Even I would be subject to it." Han Sen thought White King was being very serious. It did not seem as if he was speaking randomly, so he asked, "What are the fairy laws?" "Please come here," White King said. Then he walked to Black King City. Han Sen did not hesitate. He followed after him while Bottle Fairy came along from behind. She looked at Han Sen with a complicated expression. There were 12 buildings in 5 cities. It was something Han Sen had already seen. Now the 12 buildings in 5 cities were bigger. There was not much of a difference aside from that. White King did not bring Han Sen to peruse the 12 towers in 5 cities. After going by the 5 cities, they went to the highest peak of the white jade Jing. There was a white jade tablet there. The white jade tablet had many laws. Han Sen had a look at them. Many of the laws were weird, but they were all quite serious. One of the fairy laws stated that if a fairy made a promise, they could not break it, or the white jade Jing would take away their fairy bodies. There were too many laws. Han Sen could not be bothered reading much more. He looked around. On the left bottom corner of the white jade tablet, he saw a symbol. The white jade tablet had many words. There was only one illustration, and it was the symbol in that corner. It was the symbol of a gourd. Hansen thought that gourd was very familiar. It was like the gourd he had before Bauer was born. The size and shape were similar. Chapter 33:29. Back to the first floor. Hansen pointed at the gourd symbol and asked, "What is the meaning of this gourd symbol on the tablet?" White King said, "That was left behind by the fairy that made the white jade Jing. It is a sign of the fairy." Hansen did not know if White King was hiding something or not. There was a chance he didn't know what the marking of the gourd actually meant. He had a brief think and asked, "I am very curious. This fairy power is something even a god spirit is not as good with. I wonder what he looked like, and which race he used to be." White King and Bottle Fairy seemed to understand what Hansen was thinking, but it was just because Hansen was curious about the identity of the fairy. He did not mean it in any other way. Bottle Fairy looked cocky and said, "I do not know which race the fairy belonged to, but I believe it was a grand existence beyond all other creatures. It is just as you said. Even a sky full of god spirits cannot compare to it. The way I am is the result of the fairy creature herself. The fairy superiors must be much greater than me too." "That means the fairy and my appearance are similar," Hansen said. "Was it a boy or a girl?" "Of course it would be the same as me," Bottle Fairy replied. "It was a woman." "Was it a female fairy? Did she ever say what her name was?" Hansen was even more curious. A fairy is a fairy. They do not need names. Bottle Fairy peered at Hansen and asked, "Why are you asking so many things that are unrelated to all this? The fairy's laws are the foundation of White Jade Jing. It is controlled by us. No one can violate the laws of the fairies, or the White Jade Jing would kill us. Do you feel safer now?" "In that case, I can give these Jade Fairy lives a body," Hansen said. "You should both know that this is not something that can be accomplished in a few days. I have stuff to sort out on my own. So, I can only come to White Jade Jing once in a while. I cannot stay for long." White King nodded. "It is fine. Just remember the promise you made. It is just this time. There is a Jade Fairy I would like you to provide with a body first." Hansen wanted to know what was so special about the next Jade Fairy, but he didn't ask. He would see that Jade Fairy very soon, so there was no need to be too hasty about it all. White King and Bottle Fairy led Hansen away from the Jade Tablet. Hansen thought he would take him to the White Jade City or one of the other 3 cities, but White King took him to one of the 12 buildings. Hansen wondered, weird. With the relationship between White King and Bottle Fairy, the Jade Fairies in the 12 buildings should be lower than those in the 5 cities. How could this important Jade Fairy be inside one of the White Jade buildings and not in one of the 5 cities? Still, he did not ask anything. He just continued following White King and Bottle Fairy. He walked past a Jade building and a Jade City. One thing that confused Hansen was that the 12 buildings in 5 cities had 17 Jade Fairies, but there was only White King and Bottle Fairy. How could the Jade Fairy not have shown up? He walked all the way to the first Jade building. White King and Bottle Fairy came to a stop. The pair looked at the first White Jade building with conflicted looks. Hansen was no stranger to the first White Jade building. When he used to practice in Sky Palace, he gained access to the White Jade building. He frequently went to the first building to absorb the jade air. The first White Jade building was looking far greater than it used to. That being said, the Jade building had not changed all that much. It was a White Jade building with 7 floors. The White Jade building was the first Jade building out of the 12 buildings. They only supported a bit of jade air. Compared to the other 11 buildings, this one looked rather lame. Looking at the faces of White King and Bottle Fairy, one could discern that this first building must have been unique. White King looked at the Jade building's door. The White Jade building's door opened. Hansen followed White King and entered. He felt the Jade building's jade air was similar to water. It was pure and warm. It was far stronger than how it used to be. If Hansen was there, just the pure jade air was enough to rocket him up to King class straight away. What a good place. If I practice jade skin here, I will reach the max level. Hansen felt a bit disappointed. It is such a shame this place has now been taken by the Jade Fairies and cannot be reclaimed. The tower had changed a lot. The space inside was bigger. There was a jade spirit dancing like a jellyfish in the jade air. Hansen had a closer look. The jade spirit was gathered up by jade air. Its formation was pure. If it could have been swallowed, it would have been extremely beneficial for his jade skin. If he could obtain help from the jade spirit, Hansen's break-world jade skin would have increased. That, in turn, would have boosted his break-world rate. The higher Hansen went, the purer the jade air became. The three of them went to the top of the building. There, White King and Bottle Fairy came to a stop. They looked at the ceiling of the jade building. Hansen looked up there too. There was a statue carved from a hunk of jade on the ceiling. The creature looked very weird. It was a white sheep. It was pure white. Its horns were crooked like corkscrews. It looked calm. Countless amounts of jade air came out of the sheep jade statue. It came out similar to a pure spring of water. Please give this one a body first. White King pointed at the ceiling and the jade sheep statue perched there. That cannot be the first floor of the Jade Fairy leader. Hansen did not do anything yet. He consulted with White King first. White King did not deny it. Yes. The white jade Jing has revived, so why did this not revive? Hansen asked. That does not matter, White King said to Hansen while looking at him. The most important thing for me to ask of you is if whether or not you can give it a body. I will do my best to, but this Jade Fairy is too strong, Hansen said. I must confess, I do not know if I really am able to do this. Even if I can, my power will be depleted. I am afraid I will not be able to give more bodies to the Jade Fairies for a while. It is fine. Just try your best to do this one. White King did not change his emotion. He sounded cool and calm. White King did not mention any reasons, so there was nothing else he could do. Hansen had to clamp down on his curiosity and put his focus into the Blood Pulse Sutra. He used a break-world power to enter the ceiling and jade sheep statue. The sheep was the leader of the first Jade Building's Jade Fairy. It should not have been weaker than a break-world creature like Bottle Fairy. Blood Pulse Sutra could change its body, but Hansen was not 100% certain. Bottle Fairy and White King were special people. Their break-world rates must have been high. Even Hansen could not see what they were really trying to do. The reason Hansen agreed to help White Jade Jing's Jade Fairy get a body was that he wanted to use the power of the White Jade Jing. Qin Xiu and God Chaos Party were frightening. Hansen could not deal with them alone. If he could muster the power of the White Jade Jing, it would be better for fighting the God Chaos Party. Countless amounts of break-world power went into the Jade Sheep statue. After half an hour, the Jade Sheep statue had yet to react. Nothing happened as it did with the little black Jade Beast. It looks like the break-world rate of my Blood Pulse Sutra is too low. It does not work well on these powerful break-world creatures. Hansen was depressed. Chapter 33 Sheep Jade Body. If things were already this way, Hansen could not so simply give up right now. If he said he was unable to do it, he did not know if White King or Bottle Fairy would change their disposition and immediately start fighting him. As he cast the Blood Pulse Sutra, he used the Dongxian Sutra. He started to analyze the structure of the sheep statue. He wanted to analyze the sheep's body structure and modify it. Using the Dongxian Sutra, Hansen was shocked to find out the sheep jade's body structure was almost perfect. There weren't any flaws in its construction. It was like it was Sky God's work. There was not a single flaw to discern. That's a very powerful body. Hansen was very happy. It was not as if Hansen had found a way to analyze the sheep's body. It was just that because the body was so perfect, the break-world rate was probably 95%. No matter how high the break-world rate was, it did not concern Hansen. Even if he could see how amazing the body of something was, he could not get anything good out of it. The sheep's statue possessed pure jade power. From the structure of its body and jade power, Hansen was able to get a lot of information out of it. If I take a look at the sheep jade's power structure, it must improve my jade skin, Hansen thought. He secretly ran his jade skin power. In the past, he had absorbed the White Jade Building's jade air to practice his jade skin. Those two powers were not the same, but there was a certain jade element. Hansen did not completely copy the sheep jade's elemental structure power. He used a special spot. The body and power of a break-world creature were combined as one. To research its body meant to research its power. The Dongxian Sutra could not analyze it in time. He could only analyze one segment of its amazingness. At the same time, he used the Blood Pulse Sutra to invade the sheep Jade's beautiful body and understand more about it. Originally, this would be a trying task for Han Senator. Now, this was benefiting him. Han Sen did not want to give up. He revived the sheep, but peeping into its power was Han Sen's true purpose. The sheep's body was nearly perfect. Han Sen's progress was so slow. Even if things were like that, he had a lot to gain. This body's break world rate is higher than I thought. It is so close to 100. There is just a 1% to 20% difference. This one Jade Fairy leader is quite scary. If White King and the others have a similar level, this sort of power is something I cannot even comprehend. It can certainly compete with the God Chaos Party. Who was this fairy person who was able to create such scary creatures? What sort of power did it have that it could seal away White Jade Jing? Han Sen's mind was riddled with questions. Han Sen's jade skin was holy and pure. The purity was no worse than the sheep, but the sheep's body had a special structure. The structure of the sheep's jade body's mass, strength, and other features were similar to Han Sen's jade body. Yet it was tougher than jade skin. Considering this amazing structure's existence, if the two of them were to do the same attack, the sheep jade body's attack would be stronger than his. Han Sen was amazed by this discovery. He kept analyzing the sheep's jade body. He wanted to break the secrets inside of it. If jade skin could use this structure, the break world rate would increase. He perhaps had a chance to surpass a 30% break world rate. That would mean his break world power was solid. It might even lead to him achieving a higher break world rate. After all, this was a nearly perfect break world body. It was very similar to jade skin. It was also very rare. Han Sen kept analyzing it again and again, but he was unable to find the answers he sought. He could not break the structure of the sheep's body. He could not learn the secrets hidden within its structures. Blood Pulse Sutra kept sinking in, but its effects on it were not very good. After 2 hours, the Blood Pulse Sutra had only managed to leave behind a red dot that was smaller than a hole left by a needle. That was what was left on the body of the jade sheep statue. One would have needed a pair of binoculars to see it clearly. That little red dot still made Han Sen go crazy. With the combination of the Dongxian Sutra and Blood Pulse Sutra, it still enabled his Blood Pulse Sutra's power to sink in. Even if it was only a tiny amount, it was enough for Han Sen to learn some secrets about the jade body of the sheep statue. The sheep statue's jade body structure was not solid. It was empty on the inside. A hollow structure? Han Sen was happy. He did not care how much power this was costing him. He let power go inside him. The hollow structure could increase strength, but that was no longer necessary. The jade sheep's body secrets were not just there. Han Sen was quickly able to learn that the sheep's jade body was not hollow. It resisted the Blood Pulse Sutra's power. Han Sen tried his best to sink it in. Upon seeing Han Sen not making any huge progress, Bottle Fairy frowned and asked, "Mr. White King, can you see him?" White King coldly said, "It is good if it works. If it doesn't after his power is spent, it will be easy to capture him. Even if he cannot recover the White Sheep Fairy, he can help the Jade Fairy get a body and a will. It will be helpful for the White Jade Jing." "Mister, you are so smart." Bottle Fairy understood what White King was thinking. It did not matter if Han Sen could recover the White Sheep Fairy or not. Either way, it would only be good for them. Nothing bad would come from Han Sen helping them. Otherwise, Han Sen knew White King would not have been as nice as he was watching. He never planned on spending all of his power. He was going to save enough power to be able to escape from White Jade Jing. The Jade Sheep's secrets made Han Sen change his mind about things. Even if his power was spent, he still wanted to peek at its secrets. If he missed out on this chance, he did not know if he would ever have another. An almost perfect break world body creature was just sitting there, letting him research it. Such an opportunity was extremely rare. Even if Han Sen could kill a high-class break world creature, it would be pointless. The power of a dead break world beast would be gone. It would have not been worth doing any research. At Han Sen's level, even just a thought would require that a high price be paid. So, Han Sen did not want to risk researching the body. The Blood Pool Sutra and Dongxian Sutra had combined. A little amount of power sank in. It sank in so slowly, but every little bit was a reward. It shocked Hansen every time. It was not just the structure that was hollow. Hansen noticed the jade sheep's body was not just hollow. There were many changes in the hollow structure. There was a hexagon structure that was like a beehive. There were also triangular structures. Many hollow structures were combining. Because the sheep's jade body was like it was dead and not moving, it was hard to find out what those structures did. Chapter 33-31 Can't Escape the Chaos. Hansen had been working for 4 days and 5 nights. By this point, he had almost exhausted all of his power. Thus he had to bring it all to a close. It was not like Hansen wanted to rest. It was just that the sheep's jade body was just very weird. If Hansen's power came loose, the structure of the sheep's jade body would recover in a short amount of time. So, Hansen had to keep on going. Otherwise, all of his progress would have been for naught. It was easy to tell Hansen had been working too hard. He was becoming skinnier. His eyes were turning red, and his eye sockets were sinking deeper into him. White King and Bottle Fairy felt quite touched. They did not think Hansen was going to put so much effort into doing this. He was not afraid they would attack him. It gave them a better impression of Hansen's character. I am sorry. My break world rate is currently too low. I can't move the jade fairy body. Hansen had a wry smile as he shook his head. That is fine. You have tried your best. Let your body heal. We can discuss all this another time. White King paused and said, in Sky Palace, there are many break world creatures combined with life souls. If you need them to strengthen yourself, go and kill them. They should be able to help you. That would be of excellent help to me. Hansen felt much happier. He got to know the secrets of the sheep's jade body, and he could get break world genes. This was what could be defined as killing 2 birds with 1 stone. But Hansen's power was too far spent. If we went to go and kill a break world beast now, he would likely end up eaten by the break world beast. Hansen had to recover his power before thinking about going after any break world beasts. After White King left, Bottle Fairy remained with Hansen on the first floor. The jade air here is very pure. It will be a great help for you to recover your body. You should just stay here and rest. Bottle Fairy pointed at the jellyfish that was like a jade spirit and said, you should not consume the jade air spirits because of the jade air. Their bodies have pure jade air essence inside them, but their bodies have a will that is like they are here but not here. If you consume them, not only will their jade air be taken inside your body, but also their will that is like it is here but not actually here will be in your soul. That would not be a good thing for you. Thank you for the warning about that. Hansen understood this was just Bottle Fairy being nice. If it was another will that came in, a person's soul would be riddled with all sorts of problems. They would try to deny their personalities. In such a case, it would be too risky for Hansen to try. It was like a person having the memories of another person while occupying the same mental state. 2 memories colliding would cause problems for the person. They would make the person wonder and second-guess who he actually was. If it was a mild case, a person would have a split personality. If it was a bad case, a person would deny their own personality. That was especially so for people like Han Senator. If a soul had a flaw when he fought the mental state, he would fail because of that flaw. Unless it was a creature that had a soul-consuming power, ordinary creatures did not want to combine with the souls of another creature. That was true for life souls. It made Hansen wonder what they actually were. He was curious about how people could combine with life souls and not be affected. They could also boost someone's breakworld power. Hansen absorbed the jade air to recover the power of his cells, but the jade air was too pure and grand. He used jade skin to absorb it, and it led to his power recovering very quickly. After half a day, things were fine again. Hansen readied himself to hunt breakworld beasts across the floating islands. He asked Bottle Fairy about the breakworld beasts and White Jade Jing to ensure they had no connection. White Jade Jing had its seals broken because of the invasion of life souls, but the life souls were not enough to affect White King and Bottle Fairy. The breakworld beasts were mostly the powerful xenogeneics of Sky Palace combined with life souls. This was different from White Jade Jing's Jade Fairy. They were still afraid of White Jade Jing's Jade Fairy. That was how they were able to live together. When Bottle Fairy showed up, it was not because of Han Sun killing Break World beasts. It was because Han Sun had killed Black King. After leaving the first floor, Han Sun went to the floating island. If there was a chance that he could hunt Break World beasts, Han Sun was going to leap at the opportunity. He really wanted to know what would happen if he were to max out his Break World genes. He was excited to see the changes that would occur to his Super God Spirit mode. Bottle Fairy followed Han Sun out and went to the floating island. She said she was going out there to help Han Sun hunt down Break World beasts in case something happened. It was more likely she followed to keep an eye on Han Sun and ensure he would not run off. Even if Han Sun did behave well, they still hadn't relaxed. Han Sun did not plan on making a run for it. Otherwise, even if he was trapped by the trap fairy net, he could have run. When he flew to the floating island, Han Sun looked at the empty space. That was where the 33 skies were at. When the 33 skies appeared, many scary creatures rushed into it. There were not many creatures with that sort of power, so there were fewer and fewer trying than when this had begun. Recently, there were not as many creatures assaulting the 33 skies. Han Sun hadn't cared much about the 33 skies for a few days, but he suddenly felt himself wanting to. It was like something was compelling him to go toward it. He raised his head and looked toward the 33 skies. When he had a proper look, Han Sun's face was drained of color. On the other side, where the universe of kingdoms was, a little girl was riding a flying fish. She was holding a red, small cat. She was headed for the 33 skies. Bauer. Han Sun immediately recognized that the girl was Bauer. Plus, the flying fish and small cat were next to her. This could not be a mistake. Han Sun did not have time to think about why Bauer would go to the 33 skies. He used galaxy teleportation to teleport away from Sky Palace. He was shouting, "Bauer, do not go." Bottle Fairy thought Han Sun was trying to escape, so she used the trap fairy net. She suddenly sealed the area. The galaxy turned into a cage. Han Sun was trapped inside it. Han Sun did not think. He used his Super God Spirit mode. The fairy net, which was a break world armament and had a break world rate that was almost 100%, went right through his body. It could not stop Han Sun and his Super God Spirit mode. Bottle Fairy was shocked by this. She then realized that Han Sun had the power to escape the trap fairy net all along. Han Sun teleported into the sky. He went to the sky and the invisible barrier before the 33 skies. He shouted at Bauer, "Bauer, do not go in." It seemed as if he and Bauer were separated by the 33 skies that looked like a headstone. It was a fact that they were actually split between two worlds. Bauer was not able to hear him. He was Bauer sitting atop the flying fish. She went past the 33 skies barrier. She vanished inside the 33 skies that looked like a headstone. Han Sun was shocked and angry. He remembered Mr. White telling him that if he went to the 33 skies, there would be chaos. There was a 90% chance that he would die and only a 10% chance that he would live. Han Sun did not care. He gnashed his teeth and entered the 33 skies. The barrier of the 33 skies was not effective against Han Sun and his Super God Spirit mode. Han Sun was able to quickly enter. Chapter 33-32 Jian and Sword. When he went through the barrier, Han Sun felt a powerful force of suction nab him. Not even his powerful Super God Spirit mode could evade that force of suction. He was sucked inside. Ding. There was a crunchy sound. Han Sun's body hit a rock. What made Han Sun feel weird was that his body was inside the stone. Yes, he was sticking in it. Han Sun quickly realized that his body had a problem. He used the Dongxian aura to scan his body. He was very shocked and jumped. Han Sun was no stranger to the location he was in. There were weapons in every direction. The endless weapons forest suggested that this was the first sky of the 33 skies. It was Soldier Weapon Sky, which was also sometimes called Soldier Knife Sky. Han Sun had killed Weapon God there and retrieved Weapon God's God Spirit. This was also the place where he had taken out the Inch Grey Sword. When Han Sun went there this time, the place was vastly different from how it was before. His body had become a weapon, and he was stuck in the weapon forest. Hansen tried to use his body to take a human body again, but it was useless despite all the different types of powers he tried to use. Even the Super God Spirit mode could not make his body normal again. Hansen had to inspect himself. He had become a weapon, but he could still use his powers. It was just that his body was different. Under the Dongxian aura, Hansen's face was in his head. The blade was like a pitch-black quadrangle. Even the handle was black. To look at it from afar, it was like a burnt stick on the ground. Compared with the colorful and cold-looking weapon, he did not look particularly outstanding. Why did I become a Jian? Hansen felt very weird about this. A weapon like a Jian was not something many humans used. Hansen had used a Jian before, but he was just using it casually. He had never taken the time to practice exclusive Jian skills. He was best with 3 different types of weapons, which were a bow, knives, and swords. Yet, he had not turned into one of those 3 weapons. On top of that, he was a Jian that did not look particularly outstanding. It looks like after the 33 Skies returned to origin, it has shown its true power. Even when I came in, my power was restricted by Soldier Weapon Sky. I have become a Jian. As for the other creatures that came in, there is an 80% to 90% chance that they became a weapon too. Hansen was thinking while he gathered up power. He wanted his body to leave the stone. Even if he was a Jian, if he wanted to fly, it should not have been too hard to do that. When Hansen gathered up his Dongxian Sutra power, he used its control power. Even so, he could not get his Jian to fly out of the stone. Furthermore, he was still not moving. Hansen did not believe it. He used the Dongxian Sutra power. He used the Dongxian aura control power. Not to mention the fact that it was a 4-foot-long Jian, but even a star-class battleship or a planet should have been something the Dongxian aura could move at the speed of light. No matter how hard he tried, the Jian was shaking like mad. It made some blade-type sounds. He could not pull it out of the rock by a single inch. A voice sounded in Hansen's head. Stop wasting your energy. You are a weapon because of Soldier Weapon Sky's rule power. Unless you have the power to flip the 33 skies, you will be unable to break the Soldier Weapon Sky's rules and get yourself free. Hansen was shocked. He used the Dongxian aura to search, but there were no other creatures around. That voice was in Hansen's head again. I am right next to you. Do you not see me? What a stupid man. Are you a weapon too? Hansen asked. He used the Dongxian aura to scan. He quickly discovered something weird. There was a sword within 9 feet of the stone. Only 1 inch of the blade was showing, but the handle could be fully seen. The rest of the blade was in the stone. From the part that was showing, it could be determined that it was a very old copper sword. There was a red string for adornment at the end of the handle. The sword was purple and red. It looked as if it had been made from purple copper. It looked very pretty, but it did not make it look less scary. Hansen did not know much about swords, but he could tell it was a great sword. He could tell it might have even been a famous sword. The sword string on the purple copper sword was waving in the wind. It looked very light. Hansen used the Dongxian aura to check the purple copper sword out. He noticed that the purple copper sword's body was releasing a weird mind. It should have been that purple copper sword communicating with Han Sr. People who end up in Soldier Weapon Sky all become weapons, including god spirits, the purple copper sword said. Unless someone comes to pull us out, we will be a weapon discarded on the floor for all time. If creatures that come to Soldier Weapon Sky become a weapon, then who can come here to pull us out? Hansen asked with a wry smile. The purple copper sword coldly said, how ignorant. Outsiders will become weapons. There are native creatures in Soldier Weapon Sky. Are there? Hansen was shocked. When he came to Soldier Weapon Sky before, he never saw any native creatures. Aside from the Soldier Weapon Gene race, there were no other native creatures. Now he had become a member of the Soldier Weapon Gene race. He could not think about there being some natives there. Of course there are. The purple copper sword looked disdained and said, what an ignorant and stupid person. The 33 skies are a bridge between 2 worlds. It can get the main and reverse universe's life forces. There is a lot of life here. It is better than the main and reverse universe. How could there not be any native creatures? Hansen thought that when the 33 skies returned to their origin, It was totally normal for there to be new life. So the purple copper sword was right. You are very smart and have a lot of knowledge. You must be someone special. What is your name? Hansen wanted to find out more about the purple copper sword. The purple copper sword proudly said, I am an invincible person who fights in the sky, on the ground, and in the main and reverse universes. My name is Old Man Sky King. You can call me Sky King or Old Man. Okay. Hansen knew the purple copper sword was not talking nonsense. If he was a famous person from the two universes, even if he had never seen him, he would have heard about him. There was no Old Man Sky King. That purple copper sword was obviously there for benefits. The purple copper sword noticed that Hansen was not speaking. Therefore he asked, Young man, who are you? I am just a nobody, Hansen said. I have not done anything of renown. I have only killed a few god spirits and few break-world beasts to eat. When I am tired, the God Chaos Party's vice president tends to massage my shoulders. Whatever you say. The purple copper sword looked disdained. He thought Hansen was talking nonsense like him and not speaking the truth. Chapter 33 Lur Hansen ignored the purple copper sword. He used the Dongxian aura, wanting to find the native creatures the purple copper sword mentioned. With his power, controlling a native and having them pick up his sword would not be difficult. When the Dongxian aura was cast, Hansen knew things were as simple as he thought they would be. The weapon forest around had a powerful presence. Every weapon had its own presence. The Dongxian aura was weakened by all those presences. He had only been able to cast his presence out at a radius of around 10 miles. He could not send it out any further than that, and that was just his observation power. If he wanted to use his power to control the native creatures, he would have to be even closer to them wherever they were. It seemed as if the purple copper sword could feel Hansen's Dongxian aura. He said, Do not waste your energy. Let's not say your power can even stretch beyond the weapon forest, but even if you could go past it, you cannot control the natives. The natives are protected by Soldier Weapon Sky. If you touch them, they will be restricted by the rules that govern Soldier Weapon Sky. When Hansen heard that, he frowned. Can I really not use power to control the natives? If that cannot be done, how can they pick us up? The purple copper sword wanted to say something, but only a sudden sigh was heard. Soon after, the sword body started to shake. Hansen felt it sooner than the purple copper sword did. It surprised Hansenator about 500 miles away. There was 7 or 8-year-old wearing armor. She was traveling through the weapon forest. Is that a native of the 33 skies? Why is a human girl here? Hansen felt weird. Before the 33 skies returned to origin, he had never seen a human shadow in the 33 skies. Now he was seeing a little human girl. That gave him a bit of a shock. If a human could survive there, it meant he should have been able to regain his human form. Unfortunately, he was still stuck as a Jian. The purple copper sword tried its best to shake his sword body. He released a very small humming sound. He was trying to lure the little girl over. Hansen's heart jumped. He immediately used the Dongxian aura on the little girl. He was trying to draw the little girl closer. Pang! The moment the Dongxian aura touched the little girl, Hansen felt as if his body was given an electric shock. The Dongxian aura suddenly broke. His body was shaking like a loon. If he had a mouth, he would be screaming in pain. The purple copper sword was very happy. Ha! Ha! I told you a long time ago. This is the consequence of not listening to your elders. Now you understand its power. Hansen was not annoyed. He coldly asked, So you did the same thing too? Otherwise, how would you know what it is like? The purple copper sword grunted and did not speak. He kept using the sword to make a humming sound to draw the attention of the little girl. Hansen knew what the purple copper sword was trying to do, but he did not learn how to shake his body. He decided to just sit and watch. Why are you frozen there? The purple copper sword asked Hansen as he kept shaking his sword self. Should you not be trying to make more noise, generate attention, and garner her interest in coming over here? Is it not enough that you draw her over here? Hansen asked. The purple copper sword heard that and got mad. Make more noise. There will be a higher chance of attracting her this way. If you are not going to make an effort, do not try to fight me later. Why would I try and fight you? Hansen asked with a smile. If you decide to come my way, I can tell you that it will not be my fault. You mother. You won't put any effort in, yet you are still planning on reaping all the benefits, the purple copper sword said. How can there be something so good in this world? Not even I would do something like that. He stopped shaking his sword self. Whatever. Hansen looked as if he did not care. The purple copper sword coldly grunted and stopped talking. The little girl seemed to have heard the sound of the purple copper sword earlier. She was walking in their direction. When the purple copper sword stopped, the little girl lost her direction and started walking far away. She was walking further and further away. I can tell you that there are not many natives around, the purple copper sword said with worry. You might not see another for at least half a month. If you miss out on this chance, who knows how much longer you might have to wait. You need to think about it. Hansen did not speak. He only used the Dongxian aura to look at the little girl. Seeing Hansen not talk, the purple copper sword said, "Work with me and attract the little girl. That way we all have rewards to reap. If you are only here for freebies, I am not going to do anything that might benefit you." "I will still say the same thing," Hansen replied. "It is all up to you." The purple copper sword was very angry. He was shaking. Upon seeing the little girl walk further and further away, Hansen was continuing to not do anything. The purple copper sword gnashed his teeth and said, "I will lure her here. Do not dare try and fight me for her." Before Hansen said anything, he tried his best to shake his sword body. He made some moaning sword-like sounds. He was afraid the girl would walk too far away and no longer hear the moaning call. Fortunately, the girl had not walked too far away. After hearing the sound of the moaning sword, she listened to it for a while. She decided to follow the acoustic's direction. Not long later, the little girl came before Hansen and the purple copper sword. Her big eyes drifted around. She was trying to find out where the sword moaning sound had come from. "You just sit and wait," the purple copper sword said as he kept shaking his sword body. "When I have recovered my power, I will be able to help you." Hansen ignored him. He started shaking his body too. He also generated some moaning sounds. Hearing the moaning sounds, the little girl turned to look at Hansen. She looked shocked. It seemed as if she had no idea which way to go first. "You obscene!" The purple copper sword was exhibiting an aura of anger. The sword moaning became louder. "You are not bad," Hansen said. "If I have guessed things correctly, the natives cannot just randomly take a weapon. You are in so much of a rush, so I assume the natives can only take one weapon at a time. What is this nonsense you are talking about?" The purple copper sword paused and said, "I don't know anything about that." When Hansen saw his reaction to that, he knew he was correct. If it isn't that way, then it does not matter which one of us is pulled out first. If I get pulled out, I will come back and help you. Hansen kept shaking his Jian body to make a loud noise. "I attracted her first. You should let me be pulled out first." The purple copper sword tried its best. The cries of the sword became louder. "That all depends on which of us she likes more. If she does not like you, you cannot force her." Hansen tried harder. Hansen was very strong. The purple copper sword had already enticed the little girl and wasted so much effort to do so. Yet the black Jian's voice was able to shroud and cover up the purple copper sword. The little girl was attracted by the loud Jian noise. She started walking over to Hansen. The purple copper sword roared and yelled, "I am going to fight you." A sword moan exploded again to cover Hansen's Jian. Hansen was not weak either. He increased the volume of his moaning Jian. Arg! The two of them fought. It resulted in the girl screaming. She held her ears, looking as if she was in pain. She turned around and left. "No. Don't go." Hansen and the purple copper sword screamed at the same time, but the girl could not hear them. Chapter 33-34 I want a man. F***ku. It is because of you. Lu. Seeing the little girl run off into the distance, vanish from sight, and disappear into the recesses of the weapon forest. The purple copper sword's lungs sounded as if they were going to explode. It swore at Han Sr. You can only blame yourself for that, Han Sen coldly said. If you had not fought against me, it would have been fine. I tried my best to draw her here. Why would I have let you take her? The purple copper sword was very angry. We both used our power, Han Sen said. Therefore, you cannot take the blame out on me. Just wait until I get my body back. I will kill you. I will tear you apart and grind you into dust. The purple copper sword seemed to know that being angry was pointless. After it said that, it stopped talking to Han Senator. There was no way to tell what it was thinking. After the girl was spooked away, Han Sen used the Dongxian aura to look around. Within 10 miles, aside from the native little girl, there were no other natives around. The girl had gone too far away. She had run into a giant helmet that was 9 to 12 feet high and 2 miles away. There were some simple living things inside the helmet. There were water and fruit. It was unknown where she got them from. Within 10 miles, Han Sen did not see any rivers or plants. There were only weapons all around. Where did that little girl come from? How has she managed to survive here? Han Sen thought. Over the next few days, the little girl stayed away from that area. She was scared by what had happened. Aside from the little girl, no other creature showed up. That made the purple copper sword very sad and angry. It kept roaring and swearing. After it was freed from its current state, it would skin Han Sen alive. It would mount him atop a sword mountain and crucify him. Han Sen ignored the sword and watched how the little girl lived. Although the little girl was only 7 or 8 years old, she had a lot of power and was very fast. She was like a little leopard traveling around the forest of weapons. She would go into the weapon forest every day and journey far. Whenever she returned, she would do so with some water and fruit. Sometimes, she would even come back with broken furniture. It was a shame that Han Sen's Dongxian aura had been blocked by the forest of weapons. He could not extend his vision, so he did not know where the little girl ventured to whenever she left. After 7 or 8 days, Han Sen had yet to see another native. So he asked for the purple copper sword. I say, old sword, is there only one native little girl around here? You are an A***********. Your entire family is composed of A*********. The purple copper sword swore profusely. Tell me if you do not like it. I do not have to call you old sword. But seriously, why must you swear at me? Han Sen used another title and said, Little sword, are there any other natives in the area? The purple copper sword's teeth itched, but it seemed to know yelling mean words were not going to work. It coldly said, I told you earlier that there are not many natives here. You will not meet one in 10 days or even half a month. But you just had to go against me, didn't you? You had to go and scare that little girl. You must have a death wish or something. You can't take it out on me, Han Sen said. It wasn't my fault. One native can take only one weapon. If you were selected by the little girl, I would be so lonely. Could you not just wait a few more days? Other natives will come eventually. You can be taken away from this place too. The purple copper sword sounded mad as it spoke, but it had just admitted the fact that only one native could take out one weapon for themselves. I am just a nobody, but you are Sky King, Han Sen said. You should be generous. Why don't you be generous when a native comes along? You can let them take me away first. No way. That is impossible. If the purple copper sword could spit, it would have spit on Han Sr. Little sword. It is bad for us to keep fighting like this. No one will benefit from such sour animosities. Why don't we have a bet as to which one of us will be picked up first? Han Sen's heart jumped. He smiled at the purple copper sword. What do you want now? The purple copper sword did not think Han Sen would be honest. There are no tricks up my sharp sleeves. We just need to guess whether or not the native that comes next is a man or a woman. If it is a woman, you shut up. I will be the one to lure her. If it is a man, I will not fight and make him take me. You can lure him. Before Han Sen could finish, the purple copper sword interrupted him. Why must you be the one to lure the women while I have the men? That will not work. We have to swap. I will have the girls, and you will have the boys. The purple copper sword thought. I am not stupid. I have been here for many days. That little girl is the only one I have seen in the area. She is probably the one who will come back here. Hansen quickly agreed to the terms. Fine. Then that is the deal. No one can regret this fair trade. If you break your word, your son will have no ass, and you will be cheated on by your wife every day. Hang on. The purple copper sword did not think this was right. It thought, how can that guy agree to this so quickly? He has been here for a while. He has only seen a little girl native. The most likely to come here is the little girl. He made a bet like this at first but has now agreed to let me take the girl. He is likely digging a pitfall he expects me to stumble into. Yes. Something is wrong with this guy. Creatures that come to the 33 skies cannot be weak. They are all strong. Maybe this guy is very good at sensing things. Maybe he has sensed a man is on the way, and that is the entire hole he has been digging. That is the ploy. For sure, things must indeed be this way. The purple copper sword thought this hypothesis was correct. What? Are you going to regret this? Hansen asked. But we just made a promise. Whoever regrets would be. Stop. 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 You are making this decision by yourself. I have not said anything. I have not yet decided. The purple copper sword coldly laughed. I changed my mind. I will go for a man, and you will have the women. Are you sure you want the men? Hansen asked. Seeing that Hansen was not so fast this time, the purple copper sword believed its judgment was correct. It coldly said, yes. That is right. I want a man. Are you sure you really don't want a woman? Hansen asked. I said that I don't want a woman, the purple copper sword said. You have the women, and I have the men. You said whoever regrets this will give birth to a son without an ass and their wives will be dishing out green hats every single day. It made a vow and was not going to let Hansen alter the deal any further. Fine. Hansen looked sad after conceding. Hearing Hansen's powerless voice, the purple copper sword looked cocky and asked, do you think you can trick me? You should know your limits. Soon after, the purple copper sword heard a sword come from far away. It was very happy. Really? Those footsteps don't belong to the little girl? Chapter 33-35. Pulling out the sword in haste, the purple copper sword was able to feel who was on the approach. Its sensing power was inferior to Hansen's, but it was still fairly remarkable. When it sensed the person's face, the purple copper sword was so angry that it almost coughed up blood. It wasn't the little girl that came, but it was still a woman. She was just much older than the little girl. It was an adult female. Little sword, thank you for letting me be taken first. I will go right ahead and not delay this. Hansen smiled and wiggled his jian. He kept making moaning sounds to attract the adult female. You are tricking me, the purple copper sword said. It was furious. It now knew it had been well and truly duped by Han Sr. If wanted to choose a man, so you chose a man, Hansen said with a smile. If you wanted a woman, you should have chosen a woman. I let you pick first. What you are saying now is plain unfair. His sensing power was much stronger than the purple copper sword. He had seen the adult woman a long time before. It was the whole reason he decided on doing the bet charade with the purple copper sword. At this time, Hansen was not going to confess to anything. Seeing the purple copper sword not say a word, Hansen used all of his power to move his Jian body and attract the woman. The woman heard the Jian's moaning sound and walked toward it. When the woman got close to Hansen, the purple copper sword suddenly started to moan too. It made some crunchy, sword moaning sounds that ensnared the attention of the woman. Holy shit! Hansen madly exclaimed. Did you forget the promise you made? Are you not afraid of your son having no ass? Are you going to be happy wearing a green hat for your wife every single day? The purple copper sword looked as if it didn't care. It simply laughed it off and said, I am not afraid. What is so scary about that? I do not plan on having a wife or a son. You are obscene. Hansen felt glum, so he felt compelled to swear. I learned that from you. The purple copper said while merrily laughing. The Jian and the sword moved their bodies in an attempt to attract the woman. After what happened last time, they did not go all in. Han Sen was thinking about how to attract the woman and get her to go for him first when he suddenly saw the purple copper sword start to glow. It looked like a shining sun. The light was not very effective, but it exuded an aura and added an extra visual highlight. It was impactful on the eyes. It was not unlike a god sword that was summoning its new master. It attracted the eyeballs of the woman. The woman ended up walking up to the purple copper sword with profound curiosity. Han Sen frowned. He wanted to release some light and have the woman's attraction be sent his way instead. Unfortunately, the pitch-black body of the Jian was not able to release any light. Although his Geno arts were there and could be used, he was embedded in a stone. Furthermore, he was bound by the rules of Soldier Weapon Sky. Before he could be pulled out, the Geno art powers could not be used on the Jian. Plus, the woman kept looking at the purple copper sword over and over. She did not seem to like looking at him. Even if he started to glow, it would have been pointless. Weird. How did the purple copper sword achieve that? How can his sword body release a light? Han Sen watched the woman meander over to the purple copper sword. He did not know how to respond or what to do about it. Do you think you can fight against me? You are simply too weak. The purple copper sword appeared as if it had already achieved victory. It looked at Han Sen cockily. Han Sen's heart jumped. He knew he could not glow, but he had spent time with Feng Yin and Feng Fei Fei. As a result, he knew a thing or two about music. Han Sen's heart jumped. He increased the vibrations of the Jian. This time, the vibrations composed a beat. He made Jian moans that were high and low and long and short. The woman who had been enticed by the purple copper sword started to pick up on the sound that was going with the rhythm. She looked confused as she turned her head. She wanted to find the source of that harmony. She looked at Han Sen's black Jian and seemed surprised. She had just been walking to the purple copper sword, but now she had stopped. She looked at Han Sen and the purple copper sword with an inability to decide between them. Do you really have to fight me? The purple copper sword was very angry. You are the one who did not follow the rules. That woman was supposed to be mine. Han Sen was not going to step back and show weakness. The Jian and the sword were both there. One was making music, and the other was glowing with light. It did not matter which one the woman looked at. They were both special to view. The woman was deep in the throes of hesitation. She looked at Han Sen and purple copper sword. She was unable to decide which one to take. The two of them were employing tricks. As they were trying to attract the woman, some roaring sounds were heard coming from the forest. The sound made the woman's face change. Han Sen and the purple copper sword were shocked by this too. They did not know what was happening. At the same time, they put their senses down on that region and discovered the presence of a big beast that was like a saber-toothed tiger. It was chasing the little girl they had seen before. The girl's speed was certainly inferior to that of the big beast, but she was smart. She kept weaving and bobbing her way through the forest as she fled. It made the saber-toothed tiger have a hard time catching her. Just as it seemed he would get her, he always ended up missing. It was easy to tell that the little girl was running toward Han Sen and the others. Han Sen had a closer look. He saw what the girl was planning on doing. She was fast and smart, but she could not escape the big beast in simple flight. He believed there was an 80% to 90% chance that she was running there to draw one of the two weapons to fight the big beast. It is no good for you or me to keep fighting right now. This can be our demise. There are two natives here. I will let you be taken first. The purple copper sword suddenly stopped glowing and moaning. The woman heard the beast's roar. She wanted to deal with the threat quickly. She pulled out a weapon. At this time, the purple copper sword had stopped glowing and moaning. He was like a simple, inanimate object. The woman looked at Senator Han Sen thinking. When the purple copper sword's voice just spoke, he put away the sounds of the Jian as well. He looked more normal than the purple copper sword. He was now looking like a charred fire poker. Han Sen knew the purple copper sword was not nice. He suddenly gave up and let the woman draw him out of the ground. He did so mostly because of the little girl and fierce beast. What the fuck does that mean? The purple copper sword angrily asked. If I do not let you have it, you steal from me. If I let you have it, you don't want it. Are you purely doing what you are doing to spite me? The woman saw the black Jian behave like normal and her face changed. She looked around. She heard the roaring sound come closer. She gnashed her teeth and went to the purple copper sword. Although neither the Jian nor the sword looked good right now, the purple copper sword style still looked better than Han Sen, who looked like a charred stick. Women often preferred things that were prettier. Thus, the woman picked the purple copper sword. The woman leaped onto the rock and gripped the handle. She was going to pull out the purple copper sword. The purple copper sword was sad and angry. It yelled, "Get lost. Do not pull me." He thought the little girl was scared and wouldn't come back. That was why he was willing to fight Han Sen for the woman. Now the little girl was obviously coming to select a weapon. He wanted to choose the little girl, but the woman was drawing him. The sword was being brought out of the stone inch by inch. Chapter 33-36 Jian Ou. The woman drew out the purple copper sword, which was glowing with a purple and red flame. It was like an endless power was coming out with the sword and going into the woman's body. Han Sen was shocked to see this. He saw it get pulled out by the native right from the ground. It was not completely free though. A special connection was forming between the purple copper sword and woman. The little girl was still being chased by the big beast. She was soon close to them. The big beast seemed to sense something. It looked at the woman with the purple copper sword that was burning with a purple and red flame. It decided to leave the little girl alone. It was like it had seen something truly terrifying. The little girl was shocked by this. She then saw the woman holding the purple copper sword. It made her think. Suddenly her vision changed. She started searching around the bush. The little girl instantly looked at the black metal Jian Han Sen had become. She clearly remembered when the black Jian and purple copper sword made some strange noises together in a contest. She looked at the woman holding the purple copper sword. It made the little girl gnash her teeth. She quickly flew to Han Senator. Her two small hands hastily gripped the Jian. Han Sen looked weird. He did not know if it was a good thing or not to be pulled out from the stone by a little girl. The little girl did not hesitate. She used all of her strength to pull the black metal Jian Han Sen had become slowly out of the ground. The little girl's height was similar to the metal Jian. Her hands were clutching the Jian's handle, but she was unable to pull it out of the stone. She let the handle of the Jian go. She clutched the body of the Jian and pulled it up. She pulled Han Sen up. When Han Sen was being pulled out by the little girl, he felt a scary rule power go into him and the little girl. It made his soul power enter the little girl. In reverse, the girl's own soul power went into Han Senator. It was like a fair trade between the pair. Han Sen was given the little girl's soul marking while the little girl was given his soul marking. Goddamn, 33 Skies rules. Han Sen used his super god spirit mode power, but it was unable to cancel the trade. The little girl's soul was way too weak. Although she had received Han Sen's soul mark, she could not refine it. That soul mark was not very compatible with her soul. It was like some iron in a sack of rice. Han Sen quickly refined and absorbed the little girl's soul mark. It became a part of his soul. It resulted in the creation of a weird sort of situation. Although the little girl had managed to pull Han Sen out, she could not be like the woman and the purple copper sword. Their powers did not resonate with each other. The little girl held the pitch-black metal Jian. It was like she was clutching a charred stick. Nothing weird happened, and there was no weird power moving. On the other hand, the woman and the purple copper sword had basically become one. The woman's body had purple-red armor. It wrapped up her slim body while the purple copper sword she held was given a scary fire. To look at her from afar, one would have thought she was a Valkyrie. The woman looked at the little girl holding Han Senator. She looked cold. She pulled out her sword and pointed it at the little girl. The sword light was like a strong bolt of lightning. It slashed in front of the little girl. The little girl subconsciously raised the metal Jian to block, but there was a dong noise. The little girl and the Jian were sent flying. At the same time, a lot of blood sprayed through the air. It all came out from the little girl. Pang! The little girl's body and the metal Jian Han Sen had fell into the midst of a weapon forest. They broke through many long spears in their descent. A lot of dust was kicked up in a nasty plume. This is so weak. I cannot believe you are so weak, yet you are a member of the soldiers. The woman was holding the purple copper sword while catching up to the little girl. Although the little girl was weak, the woman was not planning on letting her go. But it was not like she was a big threat to her. What made her feel threatened was the little black Jian the small girl was holding. The Jian looked fairly ordinary, and did not seem as if it had any power. The woman still knew that the Jian could release a weapon sound that could not be imagined. It was like the purple copper sword was summoning her. The purple copper sword's strength was very mighty. She knew the black metal Jian was nothing ordinary as well. She wanted to kill the little girl before she could hold the metal Jian. She was not going to give her another chance. Do not take it out on me. Blame the cruel world. There is only one holy soldier in Soldier Weapon Sky. One of us has to die. The woman raised the purple copper sword. She was going to slash the little girl, who was struggling to get up. The scary sword light seemed to break everything. It had an unstoppable light. The little girl's eyes were full of a wild light. She knew she would be unable to do much, but she still held on to her metal Jian. One of her arms was already broken by the first attack. She powerlessly left it hanging. As she fell through the woods, her entire body had been severely scratched. She was still bleeding. The little girl was half kneeling on the ground. One of her hands clutched the metal Jian that looked like a charred stick. She was attacking the purple and red light. Dong! The purple copper sword light struck the metal Jian. Without thinking, the little girl curled her body. She thought she was going to be attacked by a scary power. She was shocked to soon notice that aside from the weight of the metal Jian, she did not feel any power attack. Instead, the purple-red sword light struck the metal Jian like glass. It shattered and faded away. The black metal Jian, however, was totally fine. The black Jian's body was becoming an icy jade that looked like crystal. When the purple copper sword body hit the metal Jian became a half-transparent ice jade Jian. The two blades collided. Moaning sounds erupted. They were loud enough to shock the sky. The purple copper sword had a crack that was the size of a grain of rice, but the ice jade Jian was totally fine. The little girl was very happy. She held the ice jade Jian and kept striking at the woman. The woman raised her sword to fight back. A few blade collisions ensued. Each time the purple copper sword endured a hit, a crack the size of a grain of rice appeared on the metal. Dumbass. Brainless bitch. Do you only use strength to slash? The purple copper sword was afraid and angry. The purple copper sword was the man's body. If the sword was damaged, it meant his actual body was being hurt. That woman was playing with his life. His thoughts were unable to be heard by the woman. Suddenly, the purple copper sword started to glow, but it was not going to Han Sun and the little girl. It was pulling the woman's body away to escape someplace far away from there. The woman was shocked by this, but she soon disappeared someplace deep within the recesses of the woods. Chapter 33-37 Purple Copper Sword. Seeing the woman run away, the little girl clutched her ice jade Jian with merriment. Then the ice jade Jian's icy colors started to fade away. It returned to its original black color. It was like a charred stick again. Han Sun exploded with power because he did not want to see the little girl get killed. The primary reason was that as the girl sustained damage, the little girl's soul shivered in Han Sun's soul. Unless Han Sun could reclaim his soul for himself, he suspected that if the little girl died, her soul would break, and a part of his soul would break too. So far, Han Sun had yet to find a way to reclaim his soul. Although it was possible that if the little girl died, Han Sun's soul mark would return to him. That was just a possibility and not a guarantee. Han Sun did not want to take any unnecessary risks for the time being. Han Sun thought, I heard the woman say that the little girl is some kind of soldier or something. They were fighting for a position in the Holy Soldiers. Are the Holy Soldiers the leaders of Soldier Weapon Sky? If that is the case, the little girl and the woman are the Holy Spirits in Soldier Weapon Sky. Their fight was done to conduct and define the next leader of Soldier Weapon Sky. Although Han Sun could fly away, he did not choose to leave the little girl because she had a soul mark. The little girl held Han Sun and happily said, From now on, you are my holy soldier. Your name will be Little Black. Han Sun almost coughed up blood. He had finally experienced what others felt when he gave names to things. Little Silver and the others were always depressed when he came up with names to give them. Hansen tried using his mind to speak with the girl, but he felt as if there was some sort of power prohibiting him and the girl from communicating. The girl was unable to feel what he was feeling. Hansen thought, damn the rules of the soldier weapon sky. What does it even want from me? If the little girl selected me, why can we not even communicate? After thinking about it some more, he started to understand why that was. After choosing their holy soldier, the so-called members of the soldiers would keep fighting and learning. They would soon come to learn the power of the holy soldier. It was something they had to complete by themselves. They could not be affected by the wills of others. They had to own it. That was a soldier weapon sky rule. It stopped the holy soldiers from talking to their members. If I cannot become a human or get my soul mark back, I will just have to go along for the ride with this little girl, Hansen thought. He cast his Dongxian Sutra power. He covered the little girl, and took the little girl with him in flight. The pair swept up into the sky. The little girl's eyes opened wide as she looked at the metal Jian. She shouted, "Little Black, what are you doing? You are Little Black. Your whole family is black." Hansen felt depressed. He could not explain this to the little girl, so he just ignored her and increased the speed at which he was flying through the sky. He did not know where Bauer was. He did not even know if Bauer had suffered the same fate as him and become a weapon inside the soldier weapon sky. Perhaps she had already left soldier weapon sky. Thus, Hansen kept flying around, keeping his eyes peeled for anything of interest. While he was flying, Hansen let his blood pulse sutra power bleed into the girl to heal her. On the other side of the soldier weapon sky, the woman was still being dragged by the purple copper sword. She had been dragged 1,000 miles without a single moment of rest. The woman was very angry as she held onto the purple copper sword while yelling, "I am a soldier member. I am the future of the holy soldiers. If you become my god weapon, you have to listen to me." The purple copper sword flew away from the woman. It floated in the air, blazing with a beautiful purple and red flame. "If you become my god weapon, it is your destiny to obey me." The woman looked at the purple copper sword with pride. She was not willing to stand back. She was like the main character of the sky and the ground. She firmly believed that the purple copper sword had to obey her. Padong. The purple copper sword moved. The sword thrust itself through the woman's chest. Her blood came gushing out. The woman's eyes opened wide as she peered at the purple copper sword. She did not seem to believe the purple copper sword was in her chest. "No way. You are my holy soldier. You cannot hurt me. You cannot kill me. If I die, you die." The woman had not finished her words as the purple copper sword moved to puncture her heart. It went in and came out through her back. The woman was out of breath. She fell to the floor. The purple copper sword floated in the air. The woman's body had purple copper armor. It was going back to the purple copper sword. Even her life soul had been killed and become a spirit light that entered the purple copper sword. The purple copper sword took the light and spirit light. The sword's body underwent strange changes to become a purple and long-haired mysterious woman. If Hansen was there, he would have screamed. That was because the purple woman looked just like Zero. She was just more mature. Zero looked younger. This was obviously Demon Alpha Azura. If Hansen was there, he would not believe the purple copper sword that had a bad mouth was Demon Alpha. "I was going to let you live, but you threatened me, Azura." That was practically a death wish. Azura did not look at the woman's body. She regarded it as trash. Azura looked to where she had been flying. She looked strange as she spoke to herself. "What was that metal Jian? My body is the best in the universe, but my sword self could not block the metal Jian. That metal Jian must be very powerful. So who was it? What a shame this bitch turned out to be such a dumbass who did not even know how to wield my power. She only used force to strike things. If she hadn't, it would not have been difficult to kill that little girl. The 33 skies have only just recovered. Every sky is creating spirits. The little girl's spirit is fairly impressive, so maybe she will be what is needed to kill all my opponents and become the holy soldier leader in the soldier weapon sky. If she had pulled me out of the stone instead, with my power, she would have surely ascended to the throne. That asshole just had to ruin things. Azura looked sad. She thought of the metal Jian Han-sen had become. Azura started to look very angry. If it was not for Han-sen's behavior, she would have likely been collected by the little girl. Instead, she was pulled out by the stupid woman. Do not let me find you. Otherwise you will be very scared. If she was to ever encounter Han-sen again, Azura had hatched a sordid thought that would ensure he would be the one to suffer great sadness. Azura did not think she was any weaker than the metal Jian. Her body was a bit weak, but her body being weak did not prove anything. Chapter 33-38 Fighting Qin Xiu again. Han-sen did not have many thoughts. He suddenly forgot about things concerning the purple copper sword. He was there to look for Bauer. He did not care about other people and the things that concerned them. Plus, he had no idea what the real identity of the purple copper sword was. With Han-sen's guessing, the purple copper sword must have been a rough sort of man that looked absolutely horrible. It was either that or an ugly cowhead monster of sorts. He did not think it could be a pretty woman or someone like that. Han-sen was never too interested in things that were not pretty, but he would never have guessed the purple copper sword was actually Azura, the alpha of the demon race. He carried the little girl through the soldier weapon sky while in flight. He hoped to find a trace or two of Bauer. Now soldier weapon sky was bigger than ever. Han-sen flew through the air for half a day, and he had yet to find a single sign of Bauer's body. It made him feel really bad. If Bauer became a weapon, I do not think I will be able to find her, Han-sen thought. While he was thinking, he suddenly heard the weapon forest emanate with the sound of a moaning weapon. He used the Dongxian aura to cover that place. It was a great axe that was moaning. Han-sen carried the little girl with him as he descended to the big axe. The big axe was 90 feet tall. Even the blade itself was 2 stories tall. It was unknown what sort of being might have been able to wield a weapon as large as that. Judging from the moaning of the big axe, it was rather similar to Han-senator. It used to be a creature once upon a time. Han-sen stopped. The little girl's hands were still holding onto the metal Jian Han-senator. She looked like a little witch that was riding a broomstick. She was not willing to let go. Han-sen felt a headache come on. He was not a heartless man. He did not want to bring harm to the little girl, but the little girl kept following him. That was not good for him. A voice sounded from not too far away. We found another member of the soldiers, but it looks like you picked a useless weapon. A young man had arrived. He was clad in armor and holding a knife. His presence was very strange, but he was quite similar to the little girl. Like the woman who took the purple copper sword, he was likely a member of the soldiers too. In the next second, the young man slashed the little girl. The little girl leaped down from the metal Jian. She held the metal Jian and fought the young man's knife. Han-sen used jade skin to turn the Jian into one with an ice jade body. He struck the incoming knife. After the hit, the young man's knife was snapped in half. The ice jade Jian's overbearing aura did not reduce either. It moved forward to sever the young man's head. There was a pang, as the young man's head was squashed by the ice jade Jian. Suddenly, something unbelievable happened. The body of the young man whose head had been broken turned into a spirit light. It went into the little girl. The little girl looked as if she had just been given a shot of adrenaline. She grew up very quickly. She now looked to be around 10 years old. When the little girl grew up, a strange power came from her. It went into Han-sen's Jian, forcing it to exhibit some changes. Han-sen was shocked. He discovered the strength of his body had just increased. Even if his break world rate had not been altered, the increase in his body's strength was still a great boon for him. Can something that good really happen? Compared to strengthening your body, I would prefer actually having a body. Han-sen felt a bit depressed. While was thinking, a scary sword light arose. The sword light was rather like a storm that destroyed the weapon forest. Han-sen's Dongxian aura covered the place. It enabled him to see a man and a woman, 2 holy soldiers, engaged in battle. The weapon the woman was holding was a strange sort of sword. The other soldier member, who was wielding a spear, had his weapon broken by the woman's sword. The man became a spirit light that entered the woman's body. It made her sword stronger as well. The sword glowed even more. After seeing the sword, Han Sen felt his heart jump. The sword presence was something he was familiar with, but he could not be entirely certain. Did Qin Xiu become a weapon too? Han Sen observed the sword. The sword was straight, but both sides of the blade were serrated. It looked like a really scary weapon. It felt like even if one was just to inch closer to it, one would be hurt. The presence of that sword was not unlike Qin Xiu. Qin Xiu and the people of the God Chaos Party were always in the 33 skies, but they should not be down here in soldier weapon sky. How did Qin Xiu end up like a sword over here? As Han Sen wondered about this, the woman holding the sword discovered the little girl. She looked cold as she waved her sword on her way to slash her. The woman swung her sword so quickly that the little girl could not react in time. So, Han Sen jumped before her, and went to clash with the enemy sword. Dong! The sword and Jian collided against each other. The sword was like a saw going to the Jian. It left a mark on the ice jade Jian, whereas the opposing sword was fine. Is that really Qin Xiu? Han Sen's heart jumped. He saw the woman wave her sword. This time, Han Sen used the power of Super Spank to strike the enemy blade. Then, there was another gold jade moaning sound. The ice jade Jian was delivered a deep gash. Han Sen saw that the sword was not damaged. The woman holding the sword did not attack. She looked at Han Sen strangely and said, "You have managed to block 2 of my sword strikes. Yet you are not dead. You have improved quite a bit." Qin Xiu. Han Sen was shocked. The woman's voice sounded like a woman, but its tone and the mannerisms used were like those of a man. Clearly, that soldier member was controlled by Qin Xiu. She was not the one controlling the saw sword. The woman said, "I did not expect to see you here, but this is a good thing. If I kill you here, Wanner will stop thinking about you." She picked up her sword and tried attacking Han. Senator Han Sen started to fly. The Jian perforated the little girl's clothes to hook her body so she could go with him. He used galaxy teleportation. When Han Sen finished using galaxy teleportation, the woman was in front of him with the saw sword slashing toward him. "You can't escape," Qin Xiu coldly said. "If I can't run, then I will have to fight." Han Sen put down the little girl and used all the power in his body to open 4 break world-class Jian arts. His Jian glowed with a jade light. It was going to the saw sword Qin Xiu had become. With the buffing power of those 4 Jian arts, the Jian's body and opposing sword struck each other. The Jian was delivered another mark. After a few more hits, more gashes sprinkled the composure of the Jian. I do not know if this is going to work. Han Sen tried to use his jade skin power to create a hollow structure, so he could make the Jian stronger. The results were not so great. The Jian received more wounds. Chapter 33-39 Breakthrough. No. This presence is Qin Xiu's presence. I am absolutely certain of that. Even so, there is something about it that is amiss. Although it is Qin Xiu's power, it is not exactly Qin Xiu's power. Han Sen sensed that something was weird. The saw sword was very strong, but it lacked the additional power the black crystal armor carried. It made Han Sen feel weird. Catch it. The Jian's body was delivered another gash as a consequence of the saw sword. After the slash, Han Sen was sent flying away. He struck a shield. The Jian's body pierced through the shield. He was now behind the shield. The little girl came out of nowhere. She clutched the handle of the Jian and pulled Han Sen away from the broken shield. "Why are you here to mess things up?" Han Sen was depressed. He saw the woman was holding the saw sword and slashing toward them. It was just above the little girl's head. Han Sen could only use his Jadeskin's break world power to stop the saw sword. Han Sen thought the story of Jin's power would be able to combat the saw sword, but the power of the story of Jin's was too much. The shockwave he was able to create was enough to obliterate the little girl. The Jian and saw collided. Han Sen and the little girl were shaken away. The little girl spilled some blood, but her eyes were still very wild. She held on to Han Sen and struggled to get up off the ground. "If you are not Qin Xiu, do you mind telling me who you are?" Han Sen ignored the little girl and used his will to talk to Saw Sword. "I am Qin Xiu, but I am just a doppelganger. I am here to claim soldier weapon Sky." The woman sounded like Qin Xiu was talking through her. Weren't you already able to reach the 17th sky? Why must you come back down here to claim dominance over the first sky? Han Sen now understood why he felt like it was Qin Xiu but not exactly Qin Xiu. It was just a clone. Qin Xiu said. I can tell you that the 33 skies were returned to their origins. Any creature can become the leader of the 33 skies and take control of the Geno tablet, but something must be done before that can be achieved. They must take the first sky and be the leader of the first sky so that they can fight for the Geno tablet. I see. Han Sen's eyes squinted. Qin Xiu explained all of this because he was very confident. He was not afraid of Han Sen learning the truth and trying to fight him. If you already understand, then show me what you are really capable of, the woman said. Let me see the true breadth of your power. She then slashed her sword toward Han Sen and the little girl. I do not need any power to deal with you. Han Sen used jade skin. He borrowed the jade sheep's hollow structure. Outside of the ice jade Jian was an ice jade shield. The ice jade shield was plated in a hexagon, beehive-like patterns. It covered Han Sen and the little girl. The sword struck the ice jade shield and cut it, but it did not, however, harm Han Sen and the little girl inside. It would appear my break world rate is over 3% now. That is brilliant. That also means my break world power has reached the level in which it becomes solid. Han Sen was absolutely delighted. All these attacks were not useless. He was finally able to use the features of the jade sheep's body and apply them to his jade skin. It enabled the jade skin's break world power to become solid. The woman coldly grunted. The saw sword kept slashing. Sword after sword. It was like a storm that kept slashing downward. Han Sen generated more ice jade shields. He kept blocking the attacks of the sword again and again. The ice jade shield was broken again and again. Han Sen thought, very powerful Qin Xiu. Even just a clone sword is this powerful. If the real Qin Xiu became a sword, how powerful would he be? The jade skin breakthrough was not coming to an end. The hollow structure of the jade sheep's body had many different types. Now Han Sen was using a beehive mode. He was trying to put more of the hollow structures into jade skin. Jade skin's break world rate became higher and higher. The saw sword left smaller and smaller marks across the ice jade shield. When jade skin's break world rate reached 60%, a mysterious and old spell started to appear on the solid ice jade shield. The spell was weirdly shaped. It was not like ordinary text, but it had an ice jade mind. It was hard to describe how clean it was. When jade skin generated a break world spell, the saw sword was unable to cut the solid ice jade shield. Han Sen was no longer losing the battle. Han Sen looked at the saw sword and said, Qin Xiu, if you want to kill me, come and fight me yourself. You are too naive to believe a petty clone has what it takes to bring me down. The woman stopped speaking. She kept striking Han Sen again and again, but she was blocked by the ice jade Jian's break world power. She was unable to damage the Jian. Regarding the 33 skies, a man was standing in front of the Geno tablet. He was looking at the Geno tablet, remaining totally motionless. The Geno tablet was like a big screen made of many smaller screens. All of the scenes kept changing across the Geno tablet. One of the screens displayed Han Sen doing battle with a woman. The man was watching that fight. While the man watched the fight, the Geno tablet suddenly started to glow. Not just the man, but also the countless number of creatures that populated the two universes could see the headstone like 33 skies have its Geno tablet glow. It lit up the two universes. When the Geno tablet's light grew weaker, the main and reverse universe noticed the light source was the first line of the Geno tablet's text. 17th Sky Leader. Qin Xiu is Qin Xiu. He took one sky so soon. He became a leader of 17 skies. Some old antiques who knew about the 33 skies were shocked. At the same time, Qin Xiu's body emerged from the Geno tablet. He saw the man in front of the Geno tablet. God. Long time no see. Qin Xiu squinted his eyes as he looked at the man. If I was able to, I would opt to never see your face again. God Hall leader coldly said. You are scared. You are scared I will become the master of the Geno tablet. What a shame. You are God Hall leader already. You have the Geno Hall. You cannot also be the master of the Geno tablet. If you could, you would stop me. Even if I was not here, You could not become the Geno tablet's master, God Hall leader said without moving. Who do you think can actually stop me? Qin Xiu asked with confidence. Do you think those annihilation class god spirits you employ are capable? You should know they can do nothing to stop me. Maybe they would be enough. Maybe they would not be enough. I will not know until I try it. Besides, this world has many powerful creatures. God Hall leader remained looking very cold. The powerful creatures you are talking about does not include him, does it? Qin Xiu's eyes looked at the Geno tablet. They landed on the image of Han Sr. Chapter 3340 Human King appeared. Han Sun had already asserted an absolute advantage over the opposition. When Jadeskin's break world rate became higher and higher, the saw sword was eventually unable to leave a single mark across the Ice Jade shield. But Jadeskin's break world rate had only been able to reach 60%. It could not go any higher. The Jade Sheep's body getting a hollow structure only let Jadeskin reach that far. You should just come out and meet with your real body. Hansen used his will to talk to Qin Xiu's clone. The Ice Jade Jian he had become suddenly started to fly. It carried Ice Jade light and pierced through the woman's forehead. Usually, the soul of a member of the soldiers was transferred to the victor of combat. The fighters would live together and die together. If a member of the soldiers was killed, the holy weapon was killed with it. Breaking the saw sword was not easy. On the other hand, breaking the woman's head was quite easy. The woman's eyes looked extremely cold. She held the handle of the sword. The saw sword in her hands kept hitting the Ice Jade Jian Han Sun had become. The sword slashed outward. It was like the woman's body had been absorbed by the saw sword. It combined with the saw sword. It carried a scary sword light in a rage-fueled lash toward the Ice Jade Jian. Dong! Outside the Ice Jade Jian, the Ice Jade shield broke. The saw sword and Ice Jade Jian struck each other. They cut into the Ice Jade Jian. When the Ice Jade Jian was almost cut out, the sword power was gone. In the next second, the saw sword became nothing more than dust that flew away. A voice rang out and played in Hansen's head. I will be waiting in front of the Geno tablet. Hansen knew that had to be Qin Xiu's true self. It was not just a powerful and empty clone. Hansen thought, if Qin Xiu said he will be waiting for me in the 33rd sky, that means he is actually incapable of coming down to the first sky. I can become the leader of the first sky. That much is certain. Hansen was not really too concerned about such prospects as becoming a leader of a sky, or getting the Geno tablet. He only wanted to find Bauer. If he found her now, he would immediately exit the 33 skies. Unfortunately, things had not gone too well for him. Han Sun brought the little girl with him on his journey. They scoured the land for a very long time without seeing any sign of where Bauer might be. He met many members of the soldiers along the way. Every time he killed a member of the soldiers, the little girl's body grew stronger. She steadily and sharply grew up. In a few days of this, the little girl was already a 15 or 16-year-old young lady. Her speed and power were stronger. Because she lacked the power to refine Hansen's soul mark, she could not resonate with him. She was unable to use Hansen's power for herself. So, she was not like the other members of the soldiers. She did not have armor for protection either. She had to use her body to fight. Hansen had been looking around that place for days. He was unable to find Bauer, but the Geno tablet was glowing. The 25th sky was taken. It now had a leader. The 25th sky's leader is Human King. Is that Human King who belongs to Blood Legion? After hearing the name, Hansen was given a shock. It was likely that only the leader of Blood Legion would have the audacity to use such terms. He was the alpha of the humans and straight from the sanctuaries. Upon seeing those two words, the humans of the universe of kingdoms were angered. They had never seen someone so crazy who would go so far as to declare himself the king of all humans. The fights across the 33 skies became far worse. Many scary creatures tried to attack the 33 skies. They tried to fight and claim a sky for themselves that they could lead. Hansen had now looked all over Soldier Weapon Sky. He had yet to find Bauer. He was also unable to find a way that might take him to the next tier or realm of the 33 skies. It made him feel weird. Suddenly, Han Sen had a thought cross his mind. His expression grew dim upon the realization. It cannot be that when a creature enters the 33 skies, they do not all come to the first sky. They are spread out all across the 33 skies. If things are like that, then it will be very tough finding Bauer. I don't have a clue which sky Bauer might have been tossed into. Plus, when the 33 skies return to their origin, the space tunnels between them cease to exist. I cannot go to the other skies of the 33 skies. The only way I might be able to do that is to become the leader of this sky. I will reach the Geno tablet no matter what. If Bauer ends up as the leader of another sky, perhaps I will be able to see her there. Without finding Bauer, Han Sen had to keep going with his determination to kill all members of the soldiers he could find. The soldiers could be weak or strong. It was a mixed pot since their powers all came from the weapons they wielded. The stronger a holy soldier was, the stronger their wielder would become. It would also be the reverse. They could end up weaker. Soldier Weapon Sky was home to countless weapons. To find and draw a strong weapon was not easy. Not everyone had a chance to pull out a sword as powerful as Han Sen, or the purple copper sword. They kept on battling, but they had to encounter a formidable foe. All the soldiers were killed by Han Senator ever since the little girl reached the age of 16 or 17, she stopped growing up. Little Black, you are so strong. Han Sen cut down another member of the soldiers, which made the girl clutch Han Sen and hug him tightly. Although Han Sen did not like the name he had been given, he was unable to talk to her. He had to just accept it. How do I become the leader of the Soldier Weapon Sky? Han Sen had been thinking a lot about that question. In the 33 skies, 7 of the skies had already been claimed. He only knew that killing members of the soldiers was one route to becoming the leader of Soldier Weapon Sky. He had killed many soldiers by this point, yet he had not yet become the leader. Over the course of the past 2 days, he only found one member of the soldiers to eliminate. It seemed to him as if he might have already killed almost all the soldiers out there. Han Sen wondered, do I have to kill every single member of the soldiers to become a leader? Weird. Why have I been unable to encounter the purple copper sword again? That guy's power was admittedly rather scary. With his power he could certainly create a stir in Soldier Weapon Sky. Why have I been unable to find him? The Geno tablet started to glow again. Light Goddess lit up the 7th sky. She became the leader of the 7th sky. Whenever a leader popped up, Han Sen felt depressed. His heart sank every time he did not see Bauer's name. He took it as a form of bad news. Bauer, please do not let anything awry happen to you. As Han Sen worried profusely, he saw a purple sword light break space and approach him. It was the purple copper sword that had been missing for days. When Han Sen saw the purple copper sword, he did not see the member soldier that might have been wielding the purple copper sword. The purple copper sword flew to a space not too far away from Han Senator through its will. It spoke to Han Sr., obscene old Jian, are you going to fight me? Han Sen did not know the purple copper sword was Demon Alpha Azura. After it flew over, Han Sen laughed and asked, what do you want to bet with this time? Chapter 3341 Shaking Power. The purple copper sword proclaimed, today you and I are the only ones who remain in Soldier Weapon Sky. Out of us 2 final soldiers, one will die whereas the other becomes the leader of Soldier Weapon Sky. So, I want you to bet with me. If you win, you will become the leader of the Soldier Weapon Sky. Han Sen understood what the purple copper sword meant. The purple copper sword nodded and said, because you and I are limited by the rules of Soldier Weapon Sky, we have fetters with the souls of 2 members of the soldiers. If we live, we live. If we die, we die. If you and I fight, one of us will die. Otherwise, there cannot be a leader of Soldier Weapon Sky. I do have a way to kill members of the soldiers. If we use it, neither of us has to die. So even if the bet is lost, we do not have to die. All you will have to do is hand over your member of the soldiers. Even if you win, you do not want to stay with her forever, would you? My method can let you sever the connection between her soul and yours. After the purple copper sword said that, she thought, that member of the soldiers will be absorbed by me. Even if I lose, you will not get anything. But I, Azura, will not lose. Interesting. I do not know what sort of method you are referring to. Han Sen was interested. He did not want the little girl to die, but he did not want to be her weapon for all time. Perhaps the purple copper sword's method was able to help him take the soul mark away from the little girl's soul. After we find out which of us is the victor, I will tell you the method, the purple copper sword said. Sure. Han Sen asked, how would you like to bet? When the purple copper sword realized that Han Sen had fallen for her bait, she went ahead to say, your body is so strong. I believe you are very confident in that as well. I am that confident. Han Sen was not holding back. His jade skin had a 60% break world rate. Even Qin Xiu's clone sword was unable to damage him. That alone showed just how strong he was. The purple copper sword suggested, in that case, how about you and I suffer the same power attack? We will see which one of us loses. A power attack cannot be done by us attacking each other. Han Sen thought what the purple copper sword said was not right, so he frowned. Smart. The purple copper sword laughed. The 33 skies are quite amazing. Many mysterious creatures are roaming the realm, and there are countless mysterious weapons scattered across Soldier Weapon Sky in particular. In the past few days, I was able to find a scary weapon. Its power is very scary. I believe it could destroy everything. You and I should use that for the foundation of our bet. Under its power attacks, we should see which of us will end up falling back first. Are you up for that? Han Sen knew the purple copper sword was quite an obscene person. The purple copper sword was not too dissimilar to himself. They would do anything to win. For the sword to so quickly agree to another bet meant there had to be a ploy at play. There was a conspiracy to uncover. I want to see what that weapon is first. Han Sen did not dare agree to the sword's terms. The purple copper sword was quick to answer. Okay, come with me. The purple copper sword started to fly. She flew in a direction of Soldier Weapon Sky. Upon seeing the purple copper sword fly, the girl had something cross her mind. She grabbed a hold of the black Jian. In the next second, the Jian started to fly and follow the purple copper sword. Han Sen carried the girl along as he followed after the purple copper sword. Little Black, where are you going? The little girl was carried by the big Jian. She knew Han Sen could not answer her, but she asked him anyway. The Jian and a sword flew fast, but they flew for half a day until the purple copper sword finally found a place to land. Han Sen saw the ground was at the cusp of a valley. He saw a giant hammer. It was gray and black. It looked as if it had been made of iron. It looked very heavy. It looked mighty enough to crush an entire building even if it were to merely touch it. He couldn't imagine what might happen if it was swung properly. That scary and big hammer was sitting there in the valley. It made the valley look like a little hole. It was very intimidating. The purple copper sword did not get close to the hammer. It flew to the nearby spear. The sword struck the spear, and the spear broke in half. Half the spear flew toward the big hammer. Pang! The spear was still 300 feet away from the hammer. Suddenly, an invisible power shook it into dust. That is a very powerful shaking power, Han Sen said while looking at the big hammer. The purple copper sword looked cocky. This big hammer has a scary shaking power. Do you think you are strong enough to go in there with me? Whoever chickens out is a loser, right? Han Sen coldly asked. Yes, the purple copper sword replied. In that case, you and I can go in together. Han Sen quickly agreed. He took the girl with him as he approached the hammer. Okay. The purple copper sword was happy that Han Sen had agreed. The big hammer's shaking power is not enough to break that Jian's body, but the shaking power will keep adding up to become stronger and stronger. The longer it stays there, the greater the shaking power will become. With that continuous buildup of power, it is only a matter of time before your body fails. Do not forget you are also carrying a member of the soldiers. A Jian and a sword flew toward the big hammer. Even though they were 300 feet away from the big hammer, the Jian and sword started to shake. An uncontrollable buzzing noise sounded. Even vortexes were visible in the space around them. Space was twisted by that shaking power. When that shaking power was there, Han Sen's body had an ice jade shield. He kept himself and the girl in it to filter the shaking power away. The purple copper sword did not use any power. It used its body to fight against the shaking power. The purple copper sword body kept quivering, resulting in the generation of sword buzzing sounds. That shaking power was very unique. It was like a shockwave that came wave by wave. The shockwave kept getting bigger and bigger. When the shaking power was activated, it did not feel difficult to fight back. When the shaking power continuously built up, the shaking frequency and amount were more. Jade's skin structure was very tight. With that shaking power, however, gaps were forming. The Ice Jade shield blocked Qin Xiu's clone attacks, but it also started to have gaps. While the shaking continued, those marks became more obvious. That's a very powerful shaking power. Han Sen complimented it, but he was not at all surprised. He used a beehive structure in the Ice Jade shield. He stabilized the Ice Jade shield to reduce the effectiveness of the shaking power on the Ice Jade shield. Of course, after using the beehive structure, the shaking power could not affect the Ice Jade shield much. The purple copper sword saw that and coldly laughed. If you think you can block the shaking power like that, you are too naive. This big hammer has more than just shaking power. It has only just started. It drew Han Sen there because it knew it could win. The purple copper sword moved and flew to the big hammer. Chapter 33-42 First Sky Leader Han Sen quietly looked at the purple copper sword. He knew it would have some tricks up its sleeve. If it didn't have any, it would not have invited him there in the first place. Han Sen knew that, but he chose to remain calm and watch. He did not plan on stopping the purple copper sword. The purple copper sword got closer to the big hammer. It smiled at Han Sr. With our power, I do not know how long we must wait before finding out which one of us will emerge victoriously. Time is precious. Let me add some fire to the proceedings. Be my guest. Han Sen did not move. He looked at the purple copper sword. He wanted to see what it was going to do. If it did not work, Han Sen would not just sit where he was. He would flee. Regarding winning or losing this bet, he did not care. He was not going to do anything even if he lost. The purple copper sword did not care. It turned around. The sword handle struck the giant hammerhead. Dong. When the iron hammer was hit, a shaking noise like thunder sounded. The shaking power grew scarier. It was like a tumultuous sea. Han Sen could use the Ice Jade shield to block the powerful shaking a bit. But within that shaking, there was some sort of power that could shake one's soul. It ignored the defensive properties of the Ice Jade shield and invaded it. Han Sen's Super God Spirit mode was very strong. His soul body was solid. The hammer's soul shaking was unable to do anything to him. But the girl was not faring half as well. She coughed up some blood, clutched her head, and started to cry. That hammer can attack a person's soul. Upon seeing the girl in pain, Han Sen was shocked. The purple copper sword saw that Han Sen was doing fine, which was disappointing. However, it was only a little disappointed. It had not thought that the soul power could totally break Han Sen anyway. The girl's painful face lined up with the expectations the purple copper sword had already established. More than anything, it had drawn Han Sen there to deal with the little girl. Members of the soldiers and holy soldiers had a soul connection. If the members died, the holy soldiers died too. Killing the little girl was easier than defeating Han Senator. That was why the purple copper sword concocted this wretched idea. It let the iron hammer's soul-shaking power beat the little girl. It did not matter how strong Han Sen was. Ordinary power would not be able to shake the soul away. Even if it expected Han Sen not to get the girl outside of the power, and he did it, it would be even easier for it to kill the girl. As the girl bled from her 7 holes, the purple copper sword struck the hammer harder. It kept hitting it while saying, "Your body is so strong. Such powerful power does not harm you. But that little girl does not seem to be faring too well. Thanks for asking about her, but I am sure she is fine." Han Sen suddenly used his Super God Spirit mode. The Jian turned into a white color that looked like nothingness. He released a white fire that was burning with the Ice Jade shield. He blocked the soul-shaking power and kept it outside. "Are you Han Sen?" When it saw the Super God Spirit mode, the purple copper sword immediately recognized his identity as Han Senator. It shocked the purple copper sword. "What if I am?" Hansen was not surprised. Many people knew him. The purple copper sword was silent. The reason Azura, the elusive demon Alpha, changed her personality and the way she spoke was because she did not want others to know who she was. She did not expect to meet Hansen there. Azura's power made her very good with the Shura Sutra's cause powers. It was the Luo family's falsified Sky Sutra. That power could eliminate anything that touched a cause item, but it did not work on pure spirit bodies. When a spirit died, the spirit in the body would start to reincarnate and restart its life. The karma of the last life was reduced to 0. The soul itself did not have any cause or karma to deal with. It was very hard to have it. Hansen's super god spirit mode possessed spirit power. Better yet, it was even greater than that of a spirit. Not even Azura wanted to fight someone with Hansen's body. When this happened, Azura felt troubled. Her Shura powers could slay god spirits. Against Hansen, there was no confidence in doing the same. Hansen thought the purple copper sword would do something, but the purple copper sword ceased hitting the hammer. It did not make any further acoustics. A while later it said, "If I give you the chance to become the leader of Soldier Weapon Sky, can you promise me one thing?" Hansen was surprised by this turnabout. He did not know what the purple copper sword wanted of him, but he still went ahead to ask, "Promise you what?" The purple copper sword did not speak. A while later it said, "Never mind. Even if you did not promise me, you would have to do it anyway." After that, it did not care if Hansen understood or not. Its sword had some spirit light. That spirit light went to the little girl. The purple copper sword flew away. Hansen did not understand this. He did not understand what the purple copper sword meant, but he had realized what had just happened. The purple copper sword was gone. The spirit light entered the girl's body. The girl underwent some weird changes. Her entire body became riddled with spells. In that giant soldier weapon sky, countless weapons moaned together. It was like they were welcoming a leader. Even the scary hammer joined in. At the same time, the Geno tablet started to glow. A line of new words appeared. First Sky Leader. Soldier Holy Spirit Hansen saw a sky full of weapon air go to the girl. It surrounded her and went into her body. Her flesh turned into armor. As one had a closer look at the armor, one could see it was made by many weapons. The girl's presence was stronger. When the girl's body evolved, Hansen had some power feedback. That power had all kinds of weapon will. It made Hansen suddenly feel as if he had learned all kinds of weapons' most primitive will and skills. Is there this kind of benefit? Hansen was overjoyed. To Hansen, this knowledge was not all that useful. He already knew how to use many different types of weapons. He had just been given a little bit more knowledge on top of what he already knew. He just knew about more weapon types. There was a benefit. Hansen's body was cleansed by all sorts of weapon air. It did not help boost his break world rate, but it made his body stronger. In the 33 skies, a light shone on the girl. She had finished evolving and was sucked inside the light. Hansen was the holy weapon. He should have been teleported too, but his relationship with the little girl was special. The girl could not blend his mark into her soul, but he was able to blend her soul mark completely. Thus, the Geno tablet did not believe Hansen was the girl's holy soldier. Chapter 33:43 Half Man and Half Beas. The girl rose up with the light. Hansen was still down below and in a state of shock. If he was unable to follow, he would be trapped in Soldier Weapon Sky. Hansen did not say anything. He broke space and tried to follow. He caught up with the girl and went into the light alongside her. The light and the girl's body were transparent, so he could not touch anything. He went right through the light. Hansen tried it a few times, but it seemed certain that it would not work. He was unable to touch the girl. The girl reached out her hand to try and hold on to Hansen, but that did not work either. She was unable to touch him, and her body was trapped and suspended by that light. She was unable to exit it. Seeing that the little girl was about to leave Soldier Weapon Sky, Hansen was both shocked and afraid. He was really angry about this, but he knew he needed to calm down first. The girl was going to leave Soldier Weapon Sky soon. There was no time for him to panic. He was not going to let emotional turmoil cloud his vision and have him squander the chance to fix this. Han Sen calmed down. He suddenly found a weird movement start to occur inside the girl. That movement was from the girl's soul. To be more accurate, it was Han Sen's soul. The soul mark had been unable to be refined by the girl. It was in the girl's soul. It kept a connection with Han Sen's soul. Because Han Sen's emotions were changing, the soul changed a lot too. Han Sen saw the soul and the girl start to leave soldier weapon sky. So he did not hesitate. He was determined. He immediately used his super god spirit mode to activate his spirit body and go to the girl. The moment the girl left the soldier weapon sky, the soul Han Sen went into the soul mark he had and vanished with the girl. The two universes continued having elites trying to breach the 33 skies. They all wanted to assert control over the 33 skies. More and more leaders were starting to appear. There were far fewer break world elites in the Jian Ou universe than there were in the universe of kingdoms. Regarding the growth, the Jian Ou universe was not too bad. Since the life-soul chaos, the 33 skies had returned to their origin. It was through this that the Jian Ou universe was able to vastly improve. Many break world elites appeared. Although their break world rates were not high, their potential was strong. They improved quickly. There were Jian Ou universe elites, and they had a scary name in the 33 skies. Compared to the universe of kingdoms elites, they were not too shabby. Sky Palace leader Yushanshin, Lone Bamboo Human King, Holy Gourd Vine, Very High Leader, and other elites of the universe were in the 33 skies fighting other elites too. They all wanted to be a supreme leader. There were now 16 established leaders in 16 skies. Aside from Human King, who wasn't too famous in the Jian Ou universe, no one else was able to assert a sky for themselves. Where is Dollar? Why did Dollar not come to claim a sky? If Mr. Dollar was here, he could conquer all 33 skies. The Jian Ou universe hoped they would have an elite who could become a leader of all the skies, and many put their faith in the return of Dollar. But Dollar was someone who had sunk into the sea. There was no sign of him to be found. Wang Yuheng looked at Little Flower and complained. Little Flower, what is your dad doing? He has been gone for so long, yet he hasn't taken a sky. Space Garden had many elites wondering about that as well. They pondered why Han Sen had not taken one of the skies. With Han Sen's power, he should have been able to claim a sky. Wang Yuheng could no longer help it. He stood up and declared, "No. I cannot wait any longer. I am going to the 33 skies to have a look. Let's go and see what Sanmu is up to." Tang Xinliu grabbed Wang Yuheng and asked, "Go? How are you going to go there? You have not even broken the world." Ordinary break-world beasts cannot get inside the 33 skies, so what makes you think you will be able to? Going to the 33 skies was dangerous. Many break-world beasts had already died trying to gain access, failing at its outskirts. "I have already broken the world," Little Flower said. "You should just let me go." Han Yin stopped him and said, "Little Flower, you cannot go. What happened to your brother? Auntie is already worried. If you went and died there, your mother would be very sad." Little Flower looked troubled. Recently, Ji Yanran had expressed a lot of worry about Han Senator. She kept having nightmares. If he vanished again, Ji Yanran was going to be worried even more. "I am close to breaking the world. Wait a few more days, and I will go when I have broken the world. Let us see what Sanmu is doing in the 33 skies." Xieqing King was looking very confident, and that bled into his speech. "It will be better to just wait for me," Idongmu said. "I will probably break the world sooner than you." Everyone wanted to go to the 33 skies. They kept talking, but none of them managed to break the world. They did not have what it took to go to the 33 skies. If there are no other ways, why don't we instead ask for Mr. White to go? Han Yin asked after briefly thinking. "Stop talking." Wang Yuheng shouted. "When I said I will go, I will go. I said that if you have not broken the world, you cannot even enter the 33 skies," Tang Xinliu said. "Stop trying to goof around, little uncle." "I am not messing around," Wang Yuheng said. "I have managed to break the world." Everyone looked at Wang Yuheng. He was the sort to fool around constantly. He did not practice or kill anything, So there was no way he had managed to break the world yet. Little uncle, this is no joke. There is no exit out of the 33 skies. Tang Jinliu did not believe Wang Yuhang, which was why he said that. It was not just him who didn't believe Wang Yuhang. No one else believed him either. Wang Yuhang sighed and said, since there is no one else here, and everyone here is from the sanctuaries, I will not lie. I have been possessed by a life soul. How is that possible? This is bad. This is bad. Tang Jinliu thought Wang Yuhang was joking. He laughed and moved to pat Wang Yuhang on the shoulder. His hands did not touch Wang Yuhang's shoulders. They were in the air. As he smiled and spoke, his speech was cut short. Wang Yuhang's body changed. There was some weird light on him. His head was given a transparent crown. His entire body looked weird. His eyes were given an evil, cold light. His whole form looked a bit evil. He looked like an evil god. It was not like the happy Wang Yuhang he always was. How is this possible? Everyone looked at Wang Yuhang with worry. They did not mind Wang Yuhang becoming a breakworld beast, but the will of a breakworld beast was obsessed with killing a lot very quickly. They were afraid Wang Yuhang would lose control of himself. Wang Yuhang shook his head. Do not worry. I am fine. My will has not been taken by the life soul yet. My body has not completely changed. I am not a complete breakworld beast. I am half man and half beast. He mocked himself and said, it is fine. I am not planning to get married. I can be half beast. It has saved me some time and spared me from needing to practice. I will not have to work hard. If you guys cannot go to the 33 skies, I will go on your behalf. You guys wait here, and I will go and take a look. After that, Wang Yuhang flew out of the base. Chapter 33-44 Attacking the 33 Skies. Little uncle, come back as soon as you can. Tang Jinliu said to Wang Yuhang's back. We will share a drink when you and Sanmu return. Wang Yuhang did not turn around. He raised his right hand to perform an OK gesture and flew out of the base. He looked very determined. After he flew out of the base, as Wang Yuhang was going to break space and go to the 33 skies, he felt his legs suddenly become very heavy. He lowered his head. It was Linger holding his legs. He was surprised, so he fell from the air. He screamed. Wang Yuhang picked himself up off the ground, looked at Linger and asked, Linger, what are you doing? Linger opened her eyes wide as she replied, I am coming with you to find Dad. Where I am going is very dangerous, Wang Yuhang said to Linger. You cannot come with me. You have to wait here at home. I will go and fetch your unreliable dad. Linger bent her head and said, but you cannot beat me. If so, why can you go, but I cannot? Wang Yuhang opened his mouth to speak, but no words were muttered. It was like something was stuck in his throat. He felt bad. Little sister, stop messing around. Little Flower showed up and pulled Linger away. Linger put on a face of displeasure. She filled up her mouth with air, but she stopped asking to follow after Wang Yuhang to enter the 33 skies. Wang Yuhang waved his hands and flew into the sky. He seemed weaker than before. It was uncertain whether or not it was an illusion. Tang Jinliu looked at Ningyu with worry, so he popped the question they were all thinking. Ningyu, do you think little uncle can enter the 33 skies? In their eyes, Ningyu was the strongest. Not only had he been able to break the world, but his break world rate was really high. In the past, people always wanted to see Ningyu enter the 33 skies. Every time he was asked to go, Ningyu rejected their notions. People did not understand why Ningyu rejected them though. They thought he might be scared of going, but people that understood him knew that he was not afraid. He had a fine reason for rejecting the requests of going there. Ningyu looked at Wang Yuhang flying to the 33 skies and said, I do not understand this man Wang Yuhang. What is going on? Why is Wang Yuhang going to the 33 skies? Very High and Sky Palace had been intently watching the 33 skies. They knew who Wang Yuhang was. When they saw him appear outside the 33 skies, they immediately watched what was happening. Hansen has not returned yet, Tang Jinliu said. Little uncle is going to the 33 skies to have a look. A Very High elder frowned and said, Isn't this just a load of nonsense? The 33 skies are really dangerous. Even the barrier to the 33 skies is really tough. Ordinary creatures cannot just waltz in when they please. If a creature that hasn't been able to break the world were to touch the barrier, it would be destroyed by the barrier. The very high elder spoke very spitefully, but he was only saying it for Wang Yuhang's sake. No one blamed him for that. Tang Jinliu said, "Little uncle has already broken the world." The very high elder was surprised by this. He looked at Tang Jinliu and asked, "Has he really managed to break the world? How did he manage to break the world?" Tang Jinliu told him about Wang Yuang being possessed by a life soul. When the very high elder heard about that, he shook his head. He has only just been able to break the world, and he has not even combined with the life soul fully. His break world rate will be too low. Let's not even comment on how low his break world rate is, but even a break world beast that does not have a break world rate of at least 60% will be unable to enter. Look at the break world beasts outside the 33 skies. Why don't you try to stop him? Now that he is going, if he gets injured, the break world beasts of the 33 skies will benefit from his corpse. This will be a bad situation. If little uncle is going, we will believe he knows what it takes, Xie King said. Do you think he has what it takes? Confidence requires power for support. The very high elder saw that Tang Jinliu had faith in Wang Yuhang. He just shook their head, not caring about what they said. They were just guests there, and that was the business of Space Garden. They should not have been too brutish in participating in the politics of that place. It was best that they did not try and push their opinions on others, but they thought Wang Yuhang attacking the 33 skies was not a good move. They did not think Wang Yuhang was going to make it back. Everyone looked at the 33 skies, which looked like a headstone. Many break world beasts were gathered outside the 33 skies. They could not gain access, but they did not want to leave. Some of them were there to pick up benefits. If other creatures wanted to break through the 33 skies and failed, that would be their chance to finish them off. Wang Yuhang was now outside the 33 skies. He attracted the attention of many breakworld beasts, but none were in a rush to do anything. After all, they had no idea what Wang Yuhang's strength was like. They waited until he went to attack the 33 skies. Once he was injured, they would start attacking. Wang Yuhang looked at the 33 skies. He raised his hand, and a big bike appeared underneath him. When his hand turned on the engine and made some engine noises, the exhaust created some sort of explosion. The lights across the dashboard lit up. The whole bike created some weird sort of light. It was like some sort of futuristic bike out of a sci-fi movie. When Wang Yuhang moved his hands, the rockets spewed fire. The bike became a group of different lights going for the 33 skies. Pang! The bike struck an invisible wall. The head of the bike was shattered. Wang Yuhang started to bleed, but he did not let go of the acceleration. His eyes looked cold as he pushed on with greater speed. The bike's engine kept making loud noises. The rocket's fire was extremely bright. They kept pushing the broken bike's head against the invisible barrier. No matter how hard the bike tried, it could not go forward at all. The very high elder shook his head. His break world rate is too low. He cannot gain access to the 33 skies. He is already injured. If he does not come back now, he will become food for the break world beasts. Tang Jinliu and the others were worried about Wang Yuhang too. They trusted him, but the invisible barrier was too strong. The engine kept moaning. The rocket was like a volcanic eruption. It kept spewing flames as Wang Yuhang's head was given a crown. He was in his half-man and half-beast mode now. Seeing the breakworld beasts surround him, the very high elder sighed and said, "This is game over." Just like the very high elder predicted, the breakworld beasts around all started to roar. They were like wolves or tigers going to circle Wang Yuhang. They were like demons that had crawled out of hell. The two universes had many creatures looking at the 33 skies. When they saw this, they all thought Wang Yuhang was going to die. These people in the Jian Ou universe are so cocky. Does this guy, with that sort of level, actually dare to try to enter the 33 skies? The creatures in the universe of kingdoms were all mocking him. In the next second, something unbelievable happened. They all saw the breakworld beasts, which were like demons dancing together, all leap at Wang Yuhang, who was attacking the 33 skies. They did not, however, attack Wang Yuhang. They all behaved as if they were insane. They all gathered up power to hit the invisible barrier. Like a suicide squad, they kept striking it. Pang! 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 The scary breakworld beasts went right past Wang Yuhang. All of them struck Wang Yuhang's location. Blood spilled everywhere. It looked as if they were throwing their lives away to help Wang Yuhang enter the 33 skies. Suddenly, blood was everywhere. It dyed the sky red. The people of both universes had their mouths open wide. They could not close them. Chapter 33:45 Little Uncle's Super God Spirit Body Mini Break World Beasts Around. Only a few of them had a high break world rate, or some sort of special power. Some of them did not go to the invisible barrier, but they were all struggling. It seemed as if they were engaged in fighting something. It seemed as if they wanted to go to Wang Yuhang. It looked very weird. Most of the break world beasts did not care about themselves, and they went for Wang Yuhang. It was like they were some fearless knights that served a queen. They were all headed for the invisible barrier. If one of them fell, another would come to offer support. They were using their bodies to make a path for Wang Yuhang to go to the 33 skies. It made the scalps of many creatures in both universes itch. It was strange. The 33 skies and their invisible barrier was not a restriction in which many could break it. If there were many breakworld beasts, the invisible barrier should have been stronger. Numbers were not what was needed to be relied upon to open a way in. Yet, the breakworld beasts were forming a path for Wang Yuhang that enabled him to enter. The space tunnel never opened for long. Wang Yuhang did not have time to take care of the heavily injured breakworld beasts. He kept speeding things up. He became a light and entered the 33 skies. After Wang Yuhang entered the 33 skies, the breakworld beasts that seemed all crazy went back to normal. Wang Yuhang felt major relief. He thought, luckily the breakworld rate of the breakworld beasts in the Jian Ou universe is not high. If it wasn't, I doubt my super god spirit body would have been able to affect them as much as it did. Wang Yuhang knew his body type was special. When he was young, his body type made him different from other children his age. Everyone always thought Wang Yuhang was an unlucky person and very bad when it came to love. When he went to the sanctuaries, he attracted the ire of many creatures that all sought to attack him. If 100 people were escaping in a different direction each, the creatures would always and only go for him. This kind of abnormal situation made Wang Yuhang experience many difficulties in growing up. Other people treated him like a bad smell, in which he would only bring misfortune. It was not just outsiders who were like that with him. Even the Wang family did not want to maintain their connection with him. Everyone hated Wang Yuhang, because they were afraid of being infected by his bad luck. Wang Yuhang was able to keep living because the Wang family continued to give him resources and wipe his ass. The most important thing to know, however, was that Wang Yuhang was talented. He was someone who always had what it took to be great. Amidst all those bad situations, he could still use his own power to keep on living through tough situations and scenarios. His purpose was to just survive. It was that small. Even so, he paid a price ordinary people could not imagine. Only Wang Yuhang knew he was not just an unlucky person. He had been researching his body type. Although there were no results to his research, the study of the people that had his body type led to him understanding something. Wang Yuhang did not know how to describe his body type. If he had to describe it, there was not a description that was accurate or appropriate. His body type was able to be described as one with imbalanced hormones, but that was not accurate. Of course, that kind of imbalance was not from him. It was because he could affect the hormones of other creatures. Rather, he had a substance that was like hormones. Because Wang Yuhang did not know what the name of this substance was, he chose to call it hormones. It was close to the substance. It was what he used as a name for it. This substance affected creatures more than hormones did. When Wang Yuhang was his usual self, his body type affected the creatures around him. It made the bodies of other creatures have a lesser amount of that substance. Their mass was reduced. Thus, the creatures created an emotion of hate toward him. It led to them being hostile toward him. This was why people called him someone of grand misfortune and a negative influence on others. As Wang Yuhang grew up, the effectiveness of this became stronger. It led to people hating him more and more. He attracted the attention of many creatures to attack him at once while ignoring everyone else. Ever since he met Han Sun and the others, though, Wang Yuhang started to at last feel as if he was not treated like a monster. That was why he liked being with people like Han Sun and the others. He was then granted a super god spirit body. He understood his body type. Because of this body type, he received a super god spirit body that was called super hormone. After getting this super god spirit body, Wang Yuhang was able to control his super hormone. All creatures had this super hormone. If he was able to make the super hormones of a creature lighter, the creatures around would hate him or treat him like a nemesis. They would try to kill him as fast as they could. They would shut out all other thoughts and do their best to kill him. When Wang Yuhang's super hormone increased, his body would become incredibly charming. It was not just the other gender. Even those of the same gender were unable to avoid his attraction. They would do anything for him. They would even gamble their lives for him. This was a very scary and weird power. If normal people received this power, they would be very happy. Someone could get anyone from the opposite gender they wanted by using this power. They could make those of the opposite gender their slaves. Wang Yuhang was not happy with this power. He saw countless creatures go crazy for him, and that disgusted him. He thought he was a monster. Only Han Sun and the others, who were also strange, made him feel like a human. Now he was possessed by a life soul. His super hormone body was able to break the world. Wang Yuhang was able to control the super hormone power to make others behave precisely how he wanted them to. Under the influence of the super hormone, even break-world creatures developed a lot of affection from him. They would even die for him just to smile at them. It was just that Wang Yuhang did not like this power. If Mr. White had not said that Han Sun would have trouble in the 33 skies and might not come back, Wang Yuhang would not have exposed himself and let others know he had this power. This time, he had to rely on his super hormone power to gain access to the 33 skies. There was no other way for him to do it. He checked the area around. Wang Yuhang was shocked. He saw a straight road ahead of him. Aside from the road, there was only yellow sand around. Wang Yuhang drove his bike, wanting to fly into the sky. He wanted to take a look at the entire area, but he soon realized he could not fly. He and the bike were on the ground. An air restriction power. Wang Yuhang drove the bike down a straight road. In front of the road, he noticed that both sides of it had many weird creatures. They looked like xenogenics or gene races. They looked like scorpions, but their heads were bigger than his bike. There were many of them. Wang Yuhang was not in the mood to take care of those scorpions. It would take him a long time to take down all the scorpions. He did not know how long it would take. He was only there for one purpose, and that was to find Han Senator. He did not want to waste time on the scorpions. He used his super hormone. This time he used it on himself. With the effects of the super hormones, Wang Yuhang's existence became weaker. He drove the bike past the scorpions. The scorpions ignored him. The bike was loud, but the group of scorpions did not see it. It was like they were not interested. Wang Yuhang drove very fast. He drove further and further down the road, right past the pincers. Still, no scorpions sought to attack him. After a while, Wang Yuhang's face looked terrible. The road was seemingly endless. No matter how fast his bike was or for how long he rode, ahead of him was just an endless road. There was only the desert all around. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.